My concern is that you're going to be able to carry that forward through the LANs, through the Tier 1 competitions, in the Tier 2 competitions that we'll see from them as well here in State Pulse. So there's a lot of things to consider for the Liquid side overall.
And I think we were mentioning about it earlier for JT. I mean, this is finally a chance to work with some of the very best that you've got. I think when he was on Passion UA, Complexity, and then even working with some of the South African guys back on Cloud9, you're almost working with scraps. Now you've legit got elite pieces in the world. This is his time to really prove that he could be a top in-game leader at the Tier 1 level. And I think for him and Jorko to be able to now come over as a Bulgarian, as a South African, participate mainly in the North American circuit, but also be attending a lot of European events, it's about just getting a conflicting playstyle. I think also for JT, towards the end of Passion UA, I mean, they were no Complexity, right? I know the core went over there, but it wasn't the same lineup, it wasn't the same outcome. That was a really disappointing project because it looked as if it was going to have a lot more accolades than it really did.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that one. So pressure's on him to try and make sure that that was just a bit of a blip on the radar for his own career, because you're right about what he's been able to do in previous squads. I remember the first time I remember seeing was back when he was on Bravado Gaming all those many, many years ago, and the level of caliber, the compositions that he's had have not been up to this kind of caliber. So certainly looking to see whether he can make something work out for them. The map vetoes are on screen here, or coming up on screen at the moment. It's like, can JT force out an advantage in this stage of the match?
Well, it's funny. Both teams are picking Anubis like it's going out of fashion. So I would say if you're Betclic, you probably don't want to pick it and go in towards Nuke, because it means that Liquid are probably going to go and pick it. And if not, it's going to get floated towards a decider.
Inferno's banned out first wave of the veto for the Betclic side. Liquid have decided to get rid of Ancient instead. Only a handful of times played in the last few months for this side. Only twice, in fact, on record at Tier 1 events in IEM Atlanta. So not a favoritism for them. Cash will be left open and actually picked in by the Betclic side. So not going to see a nuke coming in from their perspective.
Yeah, well, for Liquid, they can go in towards Anubis. They've picked it against Spirit. They picked it against G2. They picked it against Vitality. As an in-game leader for JT, when you're 3 for 3 in Anubis picks, you would normally expect to go into it in this direction. Instead, they go into something strong for Prism. He will be very happy to be going in towards Nuke because they play a lot of it in the Polish scene.
23 times played in the last 3 months on that Nuke pick, also specifically for the Betclic side against Liquid's own pick. At least Liquid have got strong results at the Tier 1 level, which is going to be what they're banking on more so than anything else. But the play rate, practice rate, the protocols will be in place for the core of the Betclic Apogee camp. Anubis will be our decider map up if we have to go that far, so we won't be seeing the picks of that one. But you're right about the definitions of how these two sides have lighted into that one. So if we do get that far, there will be a very appropriate battleground to finally decide who will take the third spot in the playoffs.
And this already just immediately screams diversity in the map pool for JT, that he's not just a one-trick pony. Even though you're picking Anubis against every squad so far, you've got the option against certain opponents to go a slightly different direction. Now, when we do look at the Nuke, we know that they've been playing a little bit on LAN, but so have the Poles. I would say right here for Liquid, you do really not want to be dropping a map for a little while, right? I think if you want to contest yourself, to show the strength, go all the way towards the final, go and lift the title, you want to kind of be getting over these Tier 2 teams in the group fairly easily. So even though I might sit here and say from a veto perspective, it would be great to go to a third map and back Liquid 2-1, if you are JT, you want to close in 2.
Most definitely. Whether we do close in 2 really comes down to the kind of threats that are going to be offered by the Betclic side. Now, the first threat in my eyes that immediately springs to mind is that cash pick, because we only seen one from the core of these players, and that being that previous match against the Last Resort in the opening of this group stage. Liquid haven't played it at all since they've returned into the map pool. So we've got a very curveball kind of opening to this best of 3 in my eyes, because, well, we don't know how much Liquid have practiced it. We don't know what the details are. Obviously, the official introductions of JT and Jorko only came a week or so ago, or 2 ago. So you've only had you've only really had so much time to get those tactics in order for such a brand new map in the space. So how do we sort of look at Cash as a part of this series?
Well, look at it this way, okay? Any team that recently makes changes, you're only going to prac a few maps in the map pool, because you probably need 2 or even 3 that are going to be your strong suits, and then everything else you can worry about later down the line. So I think that's the reason why Prism's gone on with the pick today. I will say that at least for Betclic, they looked pretty good in that first half against TLR out on Cash. They got themselves, what, an 8-4 on the CT basis, went up 11-5. They started choking, though, and eventually lost 8 rounds in a row. So some discussions with Sparrow as the head coach, Prism as the in-game leader, maybe some early nerve jitters, because, again, map 2 of Anubis and map 3 of Ancient, really comfortable and really easy for the Poles.
Oh, here we go. We're going to get started into our winners game, our second official best of 3 series here on the A stream. The odds at stake for this map win is at least a little bit more closer, but still favouring towards the Liquid side. You're going to back them 2-0 in your prediction, Blake?
I'm going to go 2-1. I think it could be a competitive first map, but for Liquid, I don't see it happening in 2.
Well, on the CT side start of things, the pistol round goes live. Initial contacts from Elige in towards the mid and connector access. Clock draws out first blood and towards the B lane. 2 kills for his part. A triple in fact as well, Naf's going to go falling the same alongside JT and picked up on Jorko. Mobs and Elige, a 2v4 retake. Seem like they're locked out of the pistol round already.
Lovely shooting coming through from Klocku, and Elige and Malbs are just going to get caught by that molly out from heaven. That leaves easy site access for the bomb to cross, get it planted open up for the checkers. And for Liquid, they do get themselves at least 1 exit kill. They will attempt the retake.
Well, lean around the bomb site, no reason not to for Mobs. Elige just picking up utility off the dead opposition. Mobs is low health in this one. Flash forward to check, and only the player on site gets affected by it. Man at checkers and hell, not so much. So leaving it all on Elige. Lean forward, makes some noise, forced out friend into a fight, but not looking Clock use direction. Who takes the pistol win for Betclic?
Lovely stuff coming through from Klocku. Spent a lot of time with the Coalesce boys, but then before that, Rebels, Game Agent, and funny enough, Betclic a couple of years ago. So going back to returning to an old organization, a 21-year-old only has 88 LAN maps on HLTV, and he's going up against Team Liquid and instantly starts with a 4K.
Very good openings for the T-side line. Betclic definitely want to try and get off on the right foot. I mentioned that previous result over against the last resort in the opening game. Very heavily CT's based in terms of what Betclic were able to deliver. We're looking at the situation, hoping that there'll be a bit more in this opening half of their perspective, trying to gain a bit more of the attacking onus and get a better understanding of what their T-side may look like here.
And there's going to be a lot of squads online at the LAN atmosphere in Tier 2 that are playing a lot of cash at the moment, or at least allowing it to float through into the vetoes. So you always know that these Tier 2 squads are going to have a little bit more familiarity with it than the Tier 1 teams will, just because of the amount of officials being played in general. Deeper smoke out towards A main. Friend trying to play anti-flash. The CT's trying to press on this, and, well, Friend makes noise.
Press forward as a result of that one. Flashbang in. Elige credited with the kill. Will lean forward towards the next contact. He's just getting caught with a flashbang in hand, thrown out. Demo can take back Mauls and continue that spray around the corner to deal with both threats. Exist on 2 HP. A Betclic and a 4-on-3.
They were caught napping there completely. They were playing anti, but not playing off of one another. It gets really scrappy. The T's have got util getting caught out in the open. It's definitely a recovery, though, isn't it? Because you're up by 1, you've been able to hold on to all of that mid-space, and even though there was a press out to A main, there's not been any action elsewhere. There's not been a rewalk of highway back into mid. The CTs haven't taken any space out on B. What Jorko's going to do is just smoke and block, and then bring a gamble. Bring JT and Nafly into that mix on B.
All right, now JT is watching for mid control, so it's only on Naf to defend the bomb site from the checkers. Control or hide away. JT will join them as slowly set in, however. Damage being done. A couple of players, in fact, quite a lot of damage across the T-side line, but no kills in for Liquid. With JT also taking some back spam damage in return, he will fall away, as will Jorko. Save that Kevlar, save that SMG, give Betclic their second.
And for this Betclic side, at least if we're talking about the 2 main staple players, the strong duo of Prism and Demo, they've had some experience this year of playing some very good teams on LAN. They played big out in Portugal. They played Hotu and Eyeballers in one of the Roman Imperium Cups. You look at one of the Draklans, they played 100 Thieves. I'm trying to even think. They played, what was it, in Belgrade at that Cyprus Pro. They played big. They played Illwill, CCT Global Finals. They got to play Sharks and Monty. So they've been picking up some scalps here or there. It's not been a huge amount of wins from them, and they've been able to really show that they can kind of contest against those bigger teams. But I think those reps only get you more familiar with the territory of the offline environment, and also for the challenge of when eventually the Tier 1 teams come knock again.
It's going to build that experience, build that basis, build that caliber, if you will, at this kind of environment. Well, Betclic beneficiaries of their own caliber state. 2-0 starts with a eco inbound for the players that fell. A little bit of Kevlar strung here and there for the CT base, but mostly prioritising the rifles and the next. The boost up as well from the Mac 10 to try and fight. Now it's going to get caught first by Klocku. One pistol removed, a MAC-10 and an MP9 to try and take anything back from the T side. For JT, this position's all about timing.
Indeed. And at the moment, the T's are certainly not ready for it. Thing is, what are you going to get? One kill? I mean, it's not going to be a round breaker.
And they're grouped up into main, so if he strikes and can get back to position, then maybe might catch them. The problem will be the information of the drop-off. The utility's being sent into that A-bomb site, so should take easy access. No one on contention as that pistol will fall away. The MAC-10's going to wait, expect the man to keep forward. They tested upon, they read that. Recognizing the threat, JT tagged to 28 points of health, and again, they abandon the A-bomb site to focus on the mid and B play. This round is already over, with Prism coming in to support his teammate. Clock U will get tagged rather low, but will get away with a couple kills of his own. Now Malbs. Indeed, he pulled out. Well, not a good headshot onto Exist, and against Friend, okay. Bit of expense. No kit in play, though, so time's running short against him, and backup's on the way. Demo will swing back, take the headshot and responsive. And we'll hold the round together for Betclic. Decent work from Malbs and the exit frags. Apply some expense in some capacity as the rifles come in from Liquid.
And for Malbs, this is going to be a good tenure to just see whether he can work with JT and get the most out of him individually, because I think a lot of people loved his performances out on M80, right? He was basically the king over there. He was their #1 player. And then he moved over towards G2, and yeah, he looked okay, but he certainly wasn't the same player. Sometimes you need the right individuals around you. You need the right system. And that's what JT's really got to try and work with Malbs now.
Very fast up from his T side in towards the mid-fight of the boost, but it gets turning to the Molotovs. JT can get that trade, but naded a Molotov down to his own. Demo credited with that casualty in response for Betclic.
I tell you what, mate, they are not afraid. This is the first gun round on your map pick a cash, and you are just sending it over the boost, pressurizing Z players that are stuck out there towards the sandbag. That just screams positivity already. You know, want to just slow the round down and give respect over towards this Liquid side.
Might be your own demise. Ali's going to try his hand at his boost for a second time. But nothing will be seen at the current positions held by the Betclic side. A minute to the clock, and they are expecting some sort of aggressive play from the CT forces, but not in the positions that they're currently holding.
They just need a bit of movement somewhere across the map from the CTs, because there is no one on A. Good timing there from Mirage. Spots the NWP looking towards A, so that's direction to start sending rotates over around the car.
Malbs and Jorko to the defensive line. Malbs first man in, seeing the utility coming down the smoke. The rafters. Demo made it back for some damage. He does put some nade damage on his own. M4 Malbs swinging in for a kill, trying to get aggressive into this fight, trying to hold offense as the best defense. It's all a big old ruse, though. Just noise being made. They slow it down. That bomb still in the in rotation. And as soon as the timer hits 15 seconds, they decide to call in the save. This has not gone well for Betclic. Want to hold on to their weapon state. Again, the damage was output in the previous 2 casualties. Prioritize a buy in the next round. Prism can drop Friend. Should have enough cash, even with the first stage loss bonus, to buy back in. So he will get away with 3 extra rifles and a second gun round in a row.
So what we noticed there from Betclic is that it's a good info play from Mirage. They start at least pressing towards A, and they just can't find a pick anywhere. The door player has opened it up, can't find the fork angle. The main player is trying to duel against Malbs on the back of default. He also can't work the pick. And without just squeezing one, there's no way that you can rotate that bomb over and know safely you can get it down on B. So hold on to what you've got. Liquid go and get there first. And, well, that's finally Liquid just being able to catch the right timing out in mids. Missed Incendiary out there towards the boost. That's going to be recognised by the T side, so keep that in mind for the next couple of rounds and see if that gets adjusted.
Well, for now, Liquid are a little bit more conservative about their positions in mid. Moles of the extender, and he's gone out towards A main. He's sat at lockers in the hopes of catching T-side presence off guard, but this time Betclic are not leaning into the A site at all here. Little prod out the squeaky corridors and back lanes. As Clocky with the opening kill towards the B bomb site, losing himself in the process.
Betclic are pretty happy to keep it cautious, though. You've got Friend out in the sunroom, just waiting for the pre-aim towards the checkers. The two mid players haven't really taken any map control. Now, we haven't seen much B pressure, and for Jorko playing out towards Tree, he can't really block. Doesn't have an incendiary or a smoke at his disposal.
Do this the hard way. Flash in, forced into that corner, probably seen by Prism, and indeed he gets that headshot together. M4 leans in for Exist, but Exist takes down Liege. Down to two men are Liquid. The B-bomb site overwhelmed in an instant. Mid-access decimated too. Naf and Malbs don't really have any choice but to hold back and save their guns here. 2v4 just unlikely. Money again have to be considered in the reserves for the Liquid side this time to make that safe call as Betclic respond.
And we always have this discussion about these tier 2 teams really wanting to give it to the tier 1 squads, right? Cause upsets, show their ability. I was doing a little bit of homework last night and found that in February 2016, the now head coach of Betclic Apogee, Spiro, was knocked out of the MLG Columbus LAN qualifier by Liege and Team Liquid. So 10 years later, he's coming for a bit of revenge, mate.
Might not be the major, but any kick against Liquid at this point would be a serious kick in the teeth. See how far they can take it. Tacticals called in by the favorites. A moment to rethink the alignment for the Liquid side because this has been a bit of a slow start from them.
Yeah, it certainly has done. And I think as well, it might be a little bit of a humbling experience here for Liquid to come into an event like this. I mean, your last few are what? Blast Bounty, the major. You're playing out in China, Atlanta, IEMs. For Betclic, mate, they're playing in the Draclands and the BC Game Masters and the CCTs. Then they know what these tier 2 lands are like, not only from just an environment of the playing stage, but there's no crowd, there's no arenas and everything like that. So I think that's where it can be a completely different feel and vibe when you are a tier 1 squad and you kind of come down to this level.
Betclic. Chances in the B main control this time. Naf going to try and catch Clockview off. AWP sees him trying to escape before the smoke fades and just catching a whiff of the man. Hits the connection perfectly. It's
a cracking shot in from Friend. And another info play this time out to A. Demo spots just Malbs. And I think we're noticing the first 40-odd seconds of the round, there is a lot of info plays from Liquid right now. And Betclic are just super happy to keep it cautious.
That timer run thin. Starting to take map control away from areas that the Seekers don't have it. A reboot back in towards the vent. Warper's seen it. Prism can take down a lead. And JT now pretty much surrounded. Getting away with one pick back and a low HP of the man. Molotov's against him. Demo's going to take the fight more directly. And the B site is once again fallen apart for the Liquid side. A 2v3 this time for the retake. Going to try and nade off the smoke. Molotov sent. Flashes forward, but the Orpa seeing no more returns. Brenda watched the backstab, but the bomb's going to commit to a plant. Heaven's open, but doesn't have the vision for Mob. He's going to wait for that bomb to get tapped. Try put a nade on. And does do some damage, but Demo's still alive here.
Unless a kill presents quickly, there's just no way you could retake with an AWP.
And Mob's already looking back to turn away and save. And just no access for Liquid. A 5th round for the Poles.
Mate, they are getting farmed on these site hits. Like, they are Indeed crumbling against the executes at the moment.
And correct me if I'm just sort of like placebo affecting this, but it always seems to be the B site that's just the one falling to pieces. Like the A site seems like it's solidly held. They've got the aggressive positions. Betclic play away from that, and then Clockview's getting all the opening frags in the B main lean. and then there's just nothing left for Liquid, it feels like. Is that like, am I reading that correctly? Or?
Well, I'd say first off, at least T's are in Sunroom around B, whereas a lot of the time they're not playing in A main, are they? So because of the areas of where the T's are coming from, they keep getting the picks against Nafly, etc. around the checkers. So because they've got that space in the first place, that's why they're hitting B a lot more. They're using A as a bit of an extremity. Yeah, they've got players around the boost, or they might have a player deep on the stairs, but I think there's actually only ever been one round, and that was the round that Malbs was able to win on A, where there's been A pressure.
Yeah, got those early leans on the Betclic side. Prism up on the boost, ahead of the Molotov, ahead of the smokes. Molotov down of his own as well towards the vent room. Much more proficient A lean this time from the T side. 2 players to receive it, 1 mid, 2 back on B. Standardized defensives from the Liquid camp, but will Betclic fall victim? The Orpa Jorko, the Rifle of Molds, who currently among those top fraggers for the Liquid camp, even if those numbers are generally low. No swing from MBK from here.
Friend, oh, good leg shot. He's looking cracking right now.
And Majorca to respond. Molbs on 8 HP. He's suddenly very much a lonely man. Nade center sight. None of them connect on Molbs here. Himself hidden away. Elysia's spray. Blind past the smoke, connecting very little against the T-side line. Flash forward, finally. Mold been received. Elysia one, Jorka with another. Clock you trades him and doubles up. Advantage for Betclic. JT forced back over towards the highway retreat. Prism flanking him from mid. Take the spray against him. Bit awkward, actually. JT can take him back. Low HP for one player now in this 2-on-2.
Friend, AWP detected. AWP needs to strike. Oh, he hits another beamer.
So low, though. JT has a small chance. It is slim. 1v2 to 10 pistols pulled out. Friend knows that he's low. He still hits that spray. Last man standing. Back a quad, and JT doesn't know it. Trying to force the fight. Time's running short against him. He hasn't got a kit either. He might have already lost a round. Search for Clock Q. And Clock Q just hides. Knows what he needs to do to hold that kill, hold the round. 6-1 for Betclic Apogee.
And let's be honest, that was a sitter of a kill in from Prism, and he's just whiffed. You can see it on the reaction. He's fuming that he's not got that kill cleanly. If that kill in Highway comes out, we probably don't even see an attempt at the retake. That car player is just backing off and saving. So we can see right now, Liquid are seriously struggling. They had a lot of defenders around that A-bomb site. Yeah, tucked around by Util, but they're getting outclassed individually by the Poles.
Making light work of this map. Liquid. Release set to a hero weapon, shut down by Demo, first casualty of Exist. Molbs will pick it up. One of 3 players with Kevlar on this half bite. Well, max loss bonus for Liquid have been there for quite a while now. And just no signs of turning their fortunes around, no signs of gaining that second.
Malbs getting forced out for the vent control, and they've been squeezing this area a lot.
Making it work for themselves as well. Prism finding Molbs. They're finishing in the open, sprayed from close quarters. With support of JT, will take down Prism, nearly get Clock you as well. The Orpa watch, the SMG swings forward. The bomb's been seen by the CT side, but it's all useless as Naf goes down. Jorko's alone. Was the player with the pistol in this setup. The Deagle in the hopes of getting the Orp for the next round. So in this 1v3, he's got no chance.
Gonna hope to try and walk out that smoke, but being watched by a friend. And a discussion that you and I have been having a lot recently in Tier 2 is how many organizations are dropping squads and orgless projects trying to run. Bro, these Coalesce boys were orgless for the entire year, and now the core's finally got a home. So I think there's going to be motivation for Clocku, Exist, and Friend, and even Sparrow as the head coach, to say, right, you've given us an opportunity, contract, salary, we're going to give it back to you. We're not only going to get you results, but we're going to put Betclic back on the map again in Tier 2.
Formerly a squad of decent renown in the Tier 2 space, not necessarily Tier 1.5 per se, but had their moments. And now, chance to reclaim that accolade. Certainly doing so well against Liquid to prove the point. 7-1 on the scoreboard. Half advantage been taken by Betclic before Liquid even broken in past their initial start. Rifles brought in, Elige Goosh down at 12 points of health.
Oh my goodness, how's he walked out?
Look at the walkout from Clockyu. This is ridiculous. Friend does get caught by JT at least. I think he might have a suspicion that Clockyu's walked, but how far has he walked?
Well, this round should be over already. I mean, there's 2 kills available out on B. There's a free kill available on the B bomb site. Oh my goodness, you do not see this very often.
Exestor dropped to Jorko, so it is a 5-on-3 for now. JT will not be found. Clockyu a little bit too fast on the searches. JT may find him. Oh no, is he about to whiff this opportunity? I think JT's seen him now. Orpa Nafrice check in, and the back is turned. Oh, what an opportunity. Gone to waste by Betclic.
Oh, that's such a shame. You do not get many chances like that one, and it's just the timing is unfortunate. I mean, you almost look at that round and say, if Clocku comes out and has to duel JT immediately, then everyone just starts running into the B bomb site with the bomb. You get the bomb down, it's a 4v4 post. Even that mid player, right, that was trapped under the boost position, got Elige down to 12 HP, got a dink off through the sandbag, but yet couldn't commit to the kill. So you have to say that quite a few things went right for Liquid in that one to go and get their second. And at least for their sake, it can build up a bit of confidence. I mean, it's never easy being down 1-7. Felt like you've not competed in the majority of these rounds.
It's that latter part that has the most concern about it. It is one thing going down the 1-7. It's another thing to not look good in any of those ones. If there were close affairs, then yeah, maybe might have some legs to stand on. If that was the case, though, then this round would have reset the economy of Betclic. It has not. They've got cash to reinvest, and so that's what they're going to do here. And it's all 2 AWPs as well, held over by the CT forces. Jorko and Naf will both have 1 apiece. See whether the setup can truly take 1 more back over the Betclic Apogee side.
Well, this is where the Poles just need to strengthen, and they know that they're up against double AWPs. There's going to be AKs being saved in that last round. Early, a lot of players towards A. No B extremity player, so this should indicate an A exec.
Molotovs don't quite burst out towards mid and sandbags. 2 CT still to meet them on the A defensive. Molbs and Jorko again up to task. The AK in the hands of one, the AWP in the hands of the other. Molotov from Exist. He plays well to force Molbs out of the way. Bounces up though and doesn't fully spread behind the forklift. The HG will come in against him as Jorko hits that opener. Clockyu's thought the AWP friend challenged at the squeaky door. Exist can take down Molbs, and now Jorko's pressured, forced out by Prism out wide on the bomb site. Demo's got that bomb on his back. He's still being a little bit wary about making the moves in. It's actually forced on Prism's part. Friend with another responsive, and Naf through the smoke reads on Demo's angle. The 2v2 is secured. Friends are going to try and extend and pick up that bomb, planted down on the A side.
And Naf's trying to go in for a big old flank. It means that JT's got to live out from the car. He cannot peek too early.
To wait for his teammate. They've got some breathing room. They've got some time to work with. Naf will just check. Searching for now, trying to establish presence on the bomb site. Friends going to have to be the man to try and watch out for him. AWP v AWP. Sees the lean, hits the shot. Lightning fast reactions. And now JT, head of the squad, sees his contact. Exists as the info he needs just to hold on that corner, wait for JT to come to him, find the spray that wins the 8th for Betclic.
Rev, the T's have missed the molly out towards the forklift. The AWP, who's pinned on the door of Friend, misses the shot against Malbs, and yet they still bully the site players. Everything went wrong in that site take for Betclic, and they find a way to create magic, to be able to recover that round. Liquid look absolutely dreadful to the start of this best of 3.
Not encouraging in the slightest. Maybe some forgiveness in cash. Maybe playing uncomfortable. As you said earlier, only so much practice you can do. Not prepared for Betclic to curveball like this. Especially after what we saw earlier against TLR. It might come down to the late game for Liquid to have any chance if that last map is anything to go off of. Because this early match is all dominated by the Polish side. 6 to the goods. A rebuy available for this one, but if Betclic take it, it could be a 10-2 harm. I didn't know I was going to say I was expecting that coming into this. fast out from the Betclic side. JT's going to receive 2 kills alongside Naf on to exist. They're dealing with the B pressure very early on. 4v2. They have called out rotations. The other CT players. Friend is watching to the edge of that smoke to reveal. Naf does get seen jumping away. A bomb was dropped as well in that exchange, so the smoke's got to come back to recover it, the Friend, at the very least, and get out of dodge.
Yeah, so even though the T's have been pressurizing B, yeah, here we go.
He's got him. I thought for a second he might have missed it on his periphery.
Still winnable. This could be on. They've got all of site access. Prism is aggressive around the truck. If he gets one more kill and they transfer this into a 2v2, it's on.
Prism's going to be deep in towards that CT access point as well. Checking for the M4s. They'll know that he's out there, or at least he's searched towards it. Be wary about Highway 2. Coming past the truck. Spray is going to go awkward for Prism. So it's all on Friend now. Hits some stellar shots. Now he needs a stellar sequence. It's in the area of the bomb site. He's back at main. He's forward. 2 nearly lined up. Got a leash at the very least. Naf now. Close to sight. Bomb plant. He's away from target. Incendiary misses. Flashed away. Diffuse just comes in, gets stuck all the way down, knowing that the harder cover was in position. Jorko can't deal with Friend, and a couple of mistakes still shining in from Betclic. Didn't affect him in the last round. In this one, it does.
It's a shame that Prism doesn't get that kill against Elige around the truck. You could just feel in a 2v2 with that access of map control. Completely different round if he gets that kill in cleanly. For Betclic overall, they just tried to change the pace. They go a lot quicker out there around the sunroom towards the B main access, and you've got JT and Naf both on the front foot, both looking to try and challenge around to the checker's position. So change of pace didn't quite work out. At least you get yourself a pretty good read by, even though there's more limitations in round 12.
Quick start for JT. Prism first to fall. Finally being like Liquid in this matchup. Friend walks right into the squeaky corridor contact. The other 3 men in main. AWP set for Jorko. Hits clock queue. Flashed in. As Mobs takedown exists, and it's a very quick and swift destruction from Liquid that will end this half on a high note. Demo in a 1v5 is Tech9. Still got 1 kill out of it. A second and a third might be a little bit too far gone for him. Does down on Jorko, but Elige is there to close it out. So indeed it will get locked in. An 8-4 half though for Betclic. Not a bad T-side at all.
I'm very pleased with the polls. I thought they looked excellent for the majority of that first half. Yeah, they might let the last couple of rounds slip, but they showed that they're here to not only compete, but they're here to win. They're here to go 1-0 up to the start of this best of 3.
All picking in the cash. Some favoritism towards the Betclic camp. And the expectations set for Liquid to try and go 2-0. Well, Stake no longer believe in that the case. 2.50 in fact for their money line for this map win. Use Pulse 35. Get yourself $5 for every day after login for the whole week with a $20 minimum deposit. Feel free to take a punt on this matchup if you so desire. Certainly Betclic are punting on themselves right now. They are feeling real hot about this. The pistol round's already live. Their CT basis. Player in sandbags. Not checked all the way. Chance to strike on 3. Exist hits one of those kills. A little bit of struggle. His teammates inbound. They're going to do so much. The Julie set to demo. Hold the defensive to an even 3-on-3. And nearly getting Elige 2. Naf's going to start searching towards the B site. Rotation's in full effect.
Elige being low is dangerous. You need to get JT and Nafly taking fights. And Clocky's going to rotate out from tree very quickly. Naf's waiting for a Jewel straight away.
On plant, accepted, Nafly peeks in ahead of another one. Gets another secondary kill against Clock Q. Demo with a responsive, needs JT on site. Naf's going to spread away towards checkers. Jules down to timing, down to headshots, and no one seems to come down for Demo, so Liquid hold a 5th.
They get themselves out of trouble, but it's still a very lazy clearance out there in the sandbag. That was a really good-looking setup for the Poles. You've got a player on the sandbag and the Z-swing, probably expecting to get maybe 2, even 3 kills between them. I think there's some struggles individually, and that's perhaps even where Naf and JT basically demonstrate the experience of the firepower in chaotic situations to come out on top. Good work from Naf just to be able to draw attention over. And for Liquid, at least they're getting themselves a little bit of a round streak, start trying to close this scoreline in, and respect is being offered in round number 14, not force buying for the CTs.
I'm going to take this a bit more cleanly. get to the guns ASAP. There's only so many rounds between them and Liquid at the moment. Gamble start towards B is at least the right read for now. Utility getting sent in. Bombs in the back of the sunroom. First smoke. Second wave of util will come inbound. We'll see what they can do. The numbers set here. Checkers with a pistol out for Friend. We get to kill together. Galil does go falling down. Clocked with one more responsive, but they all line up. And Molbs and Jorko can combine to take them all down. So good effort, but not really much gain in the grand scheme of things.
And it's going to be the test come that first gun round. I think right here from Betclic, they know that the scoreline is looking a little tight. Let's try and wrap up quickly. We saw some struggles in that secondary half against TLR. The rounds were tight. They were competitive, but they weren't really able to get it over the line. You can't let that happen against Liquid. You go down to 0-1 against a tier 1 opposition. It's almost impossible to try and win on their map pick and come through in the series. Now, you would expect that when Friend gets a good enough money line, he's going to try and get that AWP out straight away. And the CTs are looking to try and fight pretty heavily to mid.
Slow approach from Liquid here. No real contact in the first minute of the round. A little bit useful with thrown in, so Elise will try to search for a bit of it. Seeing the player over at the sandbags, not accounting for the man that's currently on top of the vent entry point. Get down JT, very low HP, and he sprays through the smokes as well. So this is nearly a 5-on-3 here for Betclic.
Yeah, what an off angle. And now Prism and Clocker have got themselves a very tight crossfire. Rotator in from Tree can take first contact to Friend.
Clock flash in, nearly lands that casualty. Incendiary thrown out, he's low HP. Friends, similar story, tagged low on 3 men, and Liquid counteract once again. They're in the bomb site though, trying to find the entry point. That nade on Clock, you should get him. Not quite, he's somehow alive. Spraying manically, they're looking for the stray bullets at this point. Player ahead now of Gamma is going to start searching. Clock does land on towards 1, but he goes down rather quickly. The backstab closes in for Prism, who takes down another kill. 3-on-2 right now for Betclic, and they're so low across Liquid, the entire board. Jorko, 23, Morbs, 37. Incendiary is going to force Jorko into the open, but not into a fight. Exist is searching for him. His teammate at Prism starts to close in. Friend will go down. Exist with a kill. Now it's all on Morbs. 1v2. Tagged up. 12 HP. Knows exactly where he is. Can only find the tag on the first contact. And Betclic on the board for the first time on the CT side.
Yeah, that was superb. What I love in the setup to that round is that the CTs, even in a man-up advantage, are still looking to try and get more. That flash play into B main was a bit unfortunate. It told them that the read was going to be B and it was going to be heavy players, but the timing was slightly off, right? Players caught with Incendiary out in the open, they're kind of all repositioning. But within that chaos, you've got to give a lot of praise towards Clocku for not only living, but being able to get a kill. He normally should get traded straight away. He's red HP, he's on the bomb site, he's got no teammate inside, but he's playing around the smoke. He gets behind the double stack, he gets the HE out, eventually swings to get one. So good work from the young man, and the scoreline now reads 9-6. Only a few more rounds for the polls to close.
With a broken buy state, you must imagine they're at least going to get towards 11. Liquid may well be in trouble right here. Not here in prison. They try to handle the boost. I think the noise being made them a bit wary of the information given over to that T side. Smoke on at main. And give some access towards Liquid and moving the checkers. HE sent. Bouncing away again. More missed util from Betclic. Incendiary has to come down at checkers with support. Kill found on Clock. Prism can trade back. Nade damage done towards 3 men. Jorko seen swinging as Exist gets the kill on Naf. Elise with a responsive Prism in the open with 1 pick and a second. Running out of ammo, force to pull out the P250 or get that triple in fact. What a sequence that is. He's got him hyped on Betclic for very good reason. An effort and a half to shut down Liquid.
Well, it's a crazy duel that Malbs creates. First off, why is he even peeking in the open? Yeah, he's trying to create the entry to open up the bomb side, but no support, no one's popping in through main, so it's just a 1-for-1. And then from there, Prism just knows, I just need to live for as long as possible. As long as I buy time, rotates are coming. He's had one unbelievable sequence. That is a really good triple from the in-game leader.
Naf there just didn't know what to make of that whole round. Just sat back in his chair like, oh dear. Liquid. No choice but to eco and try to get the guns up for the next. Try and contest from 11-6 deficit. I mean, you're not going to force the issue here. It makes no sense. A bomb plant bonus would be lovely at this point. But that's probably a lot less than likely to come their way. The bomb's leaning into the A site. There's 3 men to meet them.
It's a good read from Betclic with stacking up the bomb sites in these last couple of rounds. I mean, there's not going to be much on offer from Liquid in this one. Maybe the odd kill, but I doubt even a plant will come in.
He's just to wait it out. See the swing, turned away for a second, still transition between 2 casualties. The Prism and Demo on the returning frags and shut down again for Liquid. Not much to speak of for them in this round. Next one needs to find its success. They're burning their 3rd tactical timeout. And really need to get something together here. For the most part in this matchup, they have been shut out.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're the head coach of Spiro over here on Betclic and you see that the opposition's calling 3 tacks on your map pick, you're loving it. Because that just tells you we're all over them. We're in their heads. The Tier 1 squad is really struggling. And if we're going to be honest, I mean, how many of these Liquid players have even heard of individuals on Betclic? I know for you and I, because we cover the Tier 2 scene all the time, we know that they're reputable. But if you ask Elise and Naf to even tell you who's playing on Betclic before this tournament, they probably wouldn't even be able to know. Who are these guys? We don't know. None of them have played at a Tier 1 level. You had Friend for, what, 2 months towards the back end of 2025, play in America with Wildcard when they were trying to rebuild the roster, when Stanislaw got kicked and all of that. But everybody else, no one's played at that elite level. No one's played at the Tier 1 environment.
Getting showed up. Betclic 2 away from the win. Liquid need to win this next rifle buy round. As they'll lose cash. It is the Betclic pick. Liquid at this point will be relieved to get over towards Nuke, but even that might have its concerns with the way that this Polish side is playing against them.
Well, considering that I thought Betclic were going to pick Nuke, I think
exactly.
I think if you're the Poles, you're looking at this right now and saying we're in a really good position. Now, they know that they did a lot of damage towards JT. It's a bit chaotic and a bit back and forth in with the A split. You've got a good timing for Malbs to try and walk up Z. Only
1 man to hold. Demo smokes to the crosses. We'll check out the open position towards the highway. Malbs can cut off that 1 rotator. Smoke's coming in against his position though. M4 swings and Malbs can catch him. So 4v2. And M4 just slinks away, thinking it's better to hold on to the weapon, and it probably is. 2v4 for a retake. Nah. Keep a hold of these 2 guns. Liquid reduce the deficit to 4 rounds with their 7th on the board. Their 3rd of the T side. Aggressive fight in main that just went well for them.
And for any inexperienced squad, especially in the offline environment, the most difficult challenge is going to be closing, okay? Now, that last best of 3, Betclic were up 11-5. They couldn't get the job done against TLR, and that's really against the Brits, who are nowhere near the same conversation of a skill level to what Liquid are. So right now, I think the Poles need to recognize that pressure's going to be on. This might go all rounds in regulation. This might go quite deep in the second half, but we need to close. We have to really siphon this opportunity, go 1-0 up in the series. And it might just be a hero play. I mean, we've seen a lot of multis from the majority of these boys throughout the first half and the second half. The kill distribution looks pretty good. Friend with the AWP hasn't been struggling, but hasn't been involved that much in the kill department. Prism instantly going aggressive to try and fight against mid.
Clark Hughes just strife-faced in by Naf under that B bomb site. Round's over already. No rotation positions for Betclic, even if Prism can close on the backstabs. Now making their way in to look and hunt around for some picks or two. Wraps in from Prism, does find the first. JT immediately puts him out of commission though.
That round's definitely over. Needed that backstab to be able to prevent 2 kills, and I tell you what, that's extremely disrespectful in from Liquid. The read there from JT was that they're going to adjust. They're probably going to try and take mid, so probably only 1B early round. But to just walk through that re-smoke, no breakage of the smoke, no flash to come through, no util of the tree smoke or even default molly. It's a cracking entry in from Naf, and it opens up the bomb site. At least for the CT to hold on to 3, so no problem with the rebuy.
And the reinvestment chance gives another opportunity for Betclic to close out and take their map points. They're taking their first tactical timeout. You mentioned, of course, the inability to close in the previous series, so maybe a moment to realign the spirits of the Polish side. Vespero to insert himself into the mix, set them on the right track to gain their next 2 rounds.
The Liquid will recognize for the majority of this map, they've not really shown that they can be all that threatening in the comparison to beating Vitality 2-0 and beating G2 2-0. So you just wonder, at what point are we going to start seeing that? Is it towards the tail end of Cash? Do we maybe have to wait for their map pick of Nuke, wait for the decider of Anubis? Now, to be able to just easily overwhelm elite tier 1 squads and then come here and struggle against tier 2 competition doesn't feel right.
Liquid trying to change that narrative. Doing well for right now. Trying to maintain it all the way through the end of the map up. It's aggressive contact into the CT side, body blocking the smokes. Still will do their job of siphoning off CT aggression. CT's work their way in from mid on 1 contact, but 4 other players leaning into A main, so it looks to be an A play. Again, 3 to receive them. They've just got to keep their eyes on a leash.
Yeah, Prism can spot out from Highway and even re-smoke off that map control. It's a quick A pop.
Cross, lots, Elige rotating away. The team take damage. Kill on demo does not come through. Prism on the bomb side, just swung on by Malbs. Delivering now. Exist. Playing inside that time, trying to make a move. Seen towards the squeaky door. A transfer does do some damage. And Malbs stays alive at 11 HP. And once again, Betclic are beaten into submission.
I mean, that's just crazy. Very similar signs to what happens in that last round, is that they just get clean entries and it opens up the bomb side. There's 3 defenders on A who are in good positions. You've got the HE dunk damage that does, what, close to 100 HP, I'd say, between the 3 of them. And the pre-aim from Malbs is just excellent. You're getting yourself a really good opener around the MPK position. You then swing wide against the default player to make it that second, and then even get the 3rd kill against Exist. 9 up on the board from Liquid. And I don't think there's any issue in this second half, and from the 2-8 scoreline to worry about their sharpness. It's definitely there. And they just need to keep going round by round, keep creating these moments.
Step by step, bit by bit. That's all you have to do, Liquid. And not out of this one just yet. Not out of the woods either. Betclic, another tactical. 2 in a row in the last 2 rounds. need to find a way to shut this down because the advantage is running out on them.
Well, I would say they need to get on the front foot on the extremity areas of the map, either in A main or B main. Not so much to get an info and a read on the round, but I just think they need to take an early fight. I think at the moment they're sitting back, they're holding a lot of crossfires, and even in certain rounds where they've maybe had a bomb site stacked up or they've had themselves a lot of players all crossing, they're just losing jewels. So at least if you can get on that front foot in the early round, mid round, on the default, and just maybe work a timing, that's where you might be able to get a 5v4 rather than just holding in these 5v5s.
Liquid, quick in, AWP, V AWP, and Friend wins out the fight. Jorko put down first up. Liquid continuing with their plays in, a search towards main. Sealed nothing, but it's really a squeak here. They could get caught off. Back to turn, but Prism find the shot on. Moles picked up 2 more men seen. That's information to come over. Demo sees him coming back. He tries to put some covering fire down to suppress Naf. We'll respect it. Fall away as he takes space.
And look at Clocku. He knows I can go aggro B. There was so much contention around there at door that I can just press up on B and we can play so heavy for A. Now, if they come Ven and they come down into checkers, so what? They're never going to expect me in the sunroom.
Try that hand at pressing the back lines of Liquid quite often here on Betclic CT side. And Re-Smoke goes deep to cut off main as an option of attack. Elijah will reveal himself. Exist. Forced now to rotate away, concede mid as the teams will reaggress back into taking positions over a Squeaky. 30 seconds for the hit.
That re-smoke means that Elige just can't do anything. He cannot help these door players now.
Be wary of the angles of contact. Now Exist will join the fray. The center of the bomb site, he really does rest on his 2 teammates to at least provide the initial stances. AWP turned away, Demo with a fight back. AWP shot missing out. Now they know that 2 players are out there. Still, Friend connects on Naf. 10 seconds. Elige will connect the kill and a double up on the Demo. Now it's his chance to try and strike him down. JT just misses the bomb plant, and that's enough. Elige is out of the round, and Betclic are up on map point. Even seeing the after-time kill with the backstabber clock you that closes in at the very last second. And Liquid just can't catch a break.
Oh, they love that one. And that's exactly it, right? Forward-facing, taking map control, worked an opening pick, flashed their way into A. And then once you've got A main, if you've got the util around you, do not give up that map control. It's too strong. They re-smoke and waste so much time. And even though Elige nearly recovers that round, it's the timer alone. Rotate from Exist. Good read from the B player, Clocku, to go that aggressive and just stack up A heavily.
3 rounds to close out for Betclic. Once again, JT is going to start off the opportunities of the openings, though. Prism caught towards mid. JT's on 3 points of health. Liquid have done well with these 5-on-4s so far. And they make it a 5-on-3 with the flash peek in. Exist gets nothing.
They're definitely hitting some crazy shots in this second half from Liquid's point of view. Betclic, I mean, look, this isn't winnable. Even though the HP bars might be low of JT, you need a miracle. Friend is playing it off. They're going to gamble stack, potentially play 3 players out towards a B bomb site and just give A.
Been A hit after A hit from Liquid. The weapons in check, although they are going to leave 2 men back over here towards the B lean. There can be a last second hunt in from Naf and Elige. And I'll stick around just ahead of Maid and over Useless. No action from the CT side though. Liquid will claim the 10th. And bring this back from the brink and evade this win. Try and take us to overtime.
And another factor to why we've not seen, let's say, Clocku, Exist, and Friend playing a lot of LANs recently is, bro, they've been playing under Coalesce that's an orgless project. Like, how are you going to fund going to these Nordic LANs and going overseas? You can't. When you've got an organization, yeah, you can send them all the time. So we saw the Betclic side approaching a lot of LANs in the first half of the season, but not for the core.
They're hunting. Hold on right here. Engage with the AKs. There might have been an exit against the Betclic side, which will certainly reduce their opportunities. They did lose a third player in the pre-hunt. See what the buy state looks like for the Polish side in a second. Yeah, just the AWP staying in for Friend. They'll eco upgrade around it. This game will go to 24 rounds. And find out whether or not they will bring the comeback from the Liquid side. Friend left alone towards A as they do lean into the B stack.
At least if the AWP can take a first kill, there's something here. The problem is the AWP's out towards A and the pistols are grouped up on B.
Brazil's get one of the leash. Dink down onto JT as well. It gets a stalled out, but the pistol players here. Suss out if there's a scramble stack in play. Meanwhile, you have got that taken space away from Friend. His AWP posted in at main. There's a kill available to him. Get out of dodge, back away as Naf will fight on to Exist. JT will get Prism and Demo will fall back the same. So unfortunately, even as it was kicking up for Friend, Liquid counter-attack and find an alternative answer. We'll put them up to 11. No chance to steal now, just save the AWP.
Yeah, well, that might not happen because Naf is going hunting and that AWP is out in highway. This is a really good hunt if the AWP goes down. Friend just thought for a moment when he got that kill and it re-sent the T players back into B with all of those pistols around. If they can get themselves the right crossfire and the right timing, it could be stolen. In fact, they just get overwhelmed. And I think for Betclic, look, this has been some decent quality from them in both the first half and the second half. I know that it's getting dragged out to all rounds in regulation, but I mean, this is a brand new core on debut at LAN, and they're giving a fight back against a tier 1 team. The job's not finished. They know that they really are in a position to get at least round 24 being successful. I think if you get towards overtime, that's probably where you lose your edge. It's probably where you lose the majority of favoritism to win map number 1.
Last tactical for Betclic. Last chance to make a difference here before we go into overtime. Last chance to claim this map in regulation for the Poles. Team who have been in control for basically the entire thing. A commanding lead at 7-1 and 8-2. Contested really in the second half by Liquid. JT spammed up early beyond the contact of mid. Starting favor. Betclic without the opening frag. Do concede that mid access, which Liquid are happy to gain.
They just work it. And for Betclic, we do need to see an info play at some point. They're playing 3 on A, and they're playing demo with one of the other AWPs, just trying to defend against the highway.
Double AWP setup, saw it once from Liquid on their CT side. Last time out for Betclic. There's nowhere to look, gets distracted by the utility. Demo tagged to low. Prism needs support. Demo goes down. Clock, you will get 1 kill out of it. Prism hides inside that smoke, just away from the Molotov. As he just gets his kill back on towards Naf. And now the M4 just holds the AWP, unknowing of his position. Flash forward, Elise gets caught. Turn back in. Jorko misses that shot. Mols can tag down his teammate. Prism will get caught, as will Exist. It's all on Friend. The 1v2, AWP v AWP first. Jorko hits the shot on the wide swing, and Liquid will take us to overtime.
Just not good enough there from Demo. It doesn't matter if you're a hybrid player, if you're not really an AWPer, when you've got the secondary AWP and they're swinging you dry and highway, you have to find one. He gets hit up by the AK, the nades come in en masse, and then from there, there's a bit of chaos around the quad, around the forklift to try and recover that round, but it's well handled from the T's. And for Liquid, they just show their experience towards the end. A bit of tilt factor, a bit of frustration. And the Betclic side were up 8-2 and then had 3 map points at the 12-9 score, and have not been able to get it over the line. 12-12, overtime is calling.
Stake odds shifted back in favor of Liquid now. Testing on the opposing map pick to take away this cash may well already signal which direction this series is going. Our friend hits Naf to kick things off out towards B main and checkers as kill rings out. Starting advantage, Elige catches one, Exist fast on the trade.
And nice to see some individual impact from Jorko, because he was on 9 kills going into that last round of regulation, ended up finishing with a triple. Want to see a bit more from the young 17-year-old. Clocker and Exist trying to refight back into mid against JT.
Good kill against JT. Responded to by Exist. Demo now holds the bomb site solo. Sees man acting, Mobs not checking fully on the bomb site. The AWPer Jorko seeing a man up towards that truck, but didn't pull the trigger until the second chance. Even then, overcooks it. Only a tag on friend. Demo now knows what's going on. We'll start the reposition. And catch Jorko off. Of course, the bomb lost to him down ahead of the A-bomb site, so start to fall away. A different avenue of access, or just to save the AWP from this. Either way, should be a 13th of Betclic, no way back from Liquid.
A friend started that round off with the opening pick, and it just provided so much more to it. AWP pick from Jorko does get away with one, but hold on to the AWP, save it forward. And for Betclic, I mean, they'll be annoyed at themselves that they couldn't quite close in regulation. They go into the first round of overtime and they're successful straight away.
Counter-terrorists win.
It is what it is sometimes. Struggled in the late portions of cash for both of their cashes played today. At least will reclaim that lead for now. Will they keep it in overtime? Liquid have definitely warmed to this match. Fast in towards A main for Elige, and Jorko's AWP to support him. It's Nav tagged up early, however. I believe an AWP leg shot landed. Eventually, Clock is going to finish the job. The friend that started. Demo swing forward as he gets his kill on Mobs, and Demo can follow it up. Elige caught next. AK up for Exist. Will take down one with JT's traded the first man. Bombs on his back, but he's essentially in for an ace clutch here. A 1v5. Isolate another good kick to the back lines, but there's a backstab closing in on him, and Prism will take no mercy. Hold no prisoners. Find 14 for Betclic.
And what feels so odd in that round is just the high press from Liquid. We've not really seen that many aggressive rounds from either team throughout the first and second halves. It was sort of quite slow, quite default heavy, and then any time there was an acceleration, it was normally just shut out immediately. And there from Liquid, 2 losses in a row, take their last tactical, and for Betclic, I mean, confidence is going to start brimming a little bit. You've got an AK in the hands of Exist, another one out from the in-game leader of Prism, friends on that AWP. Could Liquid go down 12-15 in this half?
3 more map points for the Betclic side. Certainly would be something. Especially in the overtime where, on the overtime half rather, where you weren't doing all that well during regulation. It was only 4 rounds scored on their CT basis. All that lead, all that advantage scored on the aggressive side. Fear of God in you for Liquid. How do they bail themselves out of this one? How do they find a responsive? Opening fights constantly going the way of Betclic. We'll start there to kick things off in towards mid-control for Elige. 2 men looking into checkers with 1/3 player also on the back of the B-bomb site. Prism's not quite seen Elige. Elige seen Prism though, and Prism, well, we've got an inkling, so he'll hold away past the corner.
Elige with the pre-aim knows that he's got the biggest advantage on this one against Prism. 3B early round for the CTs at the moment. And even that molly doesn't force Prism out to the open. Clocku did have a smoke, but didn't want to put it down.
Friend Naf searched on Clocku, not looking the right way at the right time. Friend at least hits that shot as he exposes himself past the smoke. And now start his reposition towards Tree. As the bomb rotates away, the T still looking for mid-access. Friend will get smoked off, leans forward, shoulder was seen of the secondary man. Who will concede it. They are going to look to rotate. They are going to look to commit towards A. Arrest on Exist and Demo once again. Oh, Exist turned away at timing. Lee's just spotted him. Knows that he's there towards the forklift. 2 men going to search for that kill. 2 kills come back from Exist though. Both Jorko and JT to fall. Man advantage tipped in the CT favor. Elige is going to get spotted by Demo, who puts him away. Timing perfect with Morbs alone. 20 seconds to clutch against 3 kills. Needs them lightning fast. Will sneak past the AWP. Challenge him with a tap. Doesn't get the kill. Demo instead secures his double. And it is a perfect set of 3 from Betclic Apogee.
Bro, what a round coming out of Exist. When they know that you're out there from forklift, everyone's expecting that you're just finished for. They're going to pre-aim you, they're going to pre-fire, you're going to get nothing. And he ends up living and putting so much damage up. And for anyone that's not familiar with Exist, before he joined up with this Coalesce core, Bro was playing with Amanek on Minlay in 2026. I mean, that just tells you everything, right? He's working with some proper pods over there. SBT, Polo, they were in the just pit of death of Tier 3. They were so lowly ranked in Tier 3. And now, mate, he's playing Liquid on LAN.
And doing a damn good job of it. Clock here and Exist on 20 frags. Top fraggers in server 19 for Prism and Demo each. Eons of impact for Betclic. And it's led to 3 more map points for them. 6 in total. 4th one to task right here. Liquid need a response.
And they're being active. They've taken quite an aggressive approach around checkers and B main. They've also tried to prod Malbs into the A main position, try and re-smoke off, block map control. Jorko still waiting for someone to come over the boost.
Misses the shot for the first contact. 3 peeks against him, although backup of the M4 now revealed exists. We put the nades on towards Jorko, perfectly landing. The lead's catching some of that of his own right. Counter nades and flashbangs not nearly as effective as... I'll just look at the HP bars here. Betclic are virtually unscathed.
Jorko just 1 pick in the last 3 rounds. Nafly with that secondary AWP. And JT has not seen any more. They're playing 3 for B. This is going to be a B split.
As JT gets flashed in though, Clock you on affecting, hits that headshot quick. 2 men remain on the defensive. Morbs is on the way, so Betclic need to act right now. 20 seconds. Mollies to backside, smokes towards Tree. Naf doesn't know where to lean in though. He's forced back away from his teammates' support. They look to the backside. Elige needs to hold with Morbs coming up from heaven. Getting Exist down. Search to the outside of Clock you. 8 seconds. Bomb just about contested, but Friend gets the man down. Plants it in time. Naf on 57, Jorko on 21, 2v3. Naf naded to his own demise as Demo deals with him. Jorko gets caught elsewhere, 16 to 12. Map 1 of cash secured by Betclic Apogee.
They can't beat TLR, the plucky Brits over there in the first game on this map, but can beat Liquid, a Tier 1 squad in the world. That's a good result for the Poles. You will feel extremely excited about that one, but you still need to temper expectations. This is only 1 map in an entire best of 3. This is a new Liquid roster. This is a team that hasn't played a cash map. All right, so what, whatever, 1-0 up. Let's lock in. Nuke is a really good map for the Poles. Let's try and strike them when they're not really performing that well so far today.
I mean, surely, to by your own chain logic, though, that means that UK greater than NA, right? I mean, surely, like, if you go off of that whole thing, I mean, look, at the end of the day, it was a great effort there from the Betclic side. Starting off at an 8-2 margin, always going to be difficult to come back from. Credit to the boys over on Liquid for being able to do what they did, of course, to make it a close affair in the end, but just wasn't enough by their own standards, I have to say.
Yeah, I think for Liquids, Jorko looked very average. Naf looked pretty good. I'd say Elige looked pretty average. I think Malbs looked decent on some of those T-side entry attempts. But when you're beating Vitality and G2, I know that it's a LAN and it's a different atmosphere, but you want to see a little bit of that spark, right? You want to see exactly why they're tier 1 caliber players. And I think for the majority of Cash, they were getting owned. Like, they were getting slapped in some raw fights against these Polish players. So, yeah, not a good outing to start off. And I know that they were even talking about it briefly, like it would have been nice to play the opening match just to get another rep under their belt. For Liquid, they're down 0-1. They've got to try and return now in the series.
We'll have to find out whether they can do on their own map pick. Before we get to that, however, Nicholas is down on the floor, and I believe he's talking to Sparrow, the coach, a very proud coach right now from Betclic.
Yeah, very proud coach here, Sparrow. You just beat Liquid on Cash. Is this more about picking their weakness, or is it your strength?
It's hard to say. I mean, we practice Cash a lot, and we feel like we are playing pretty good this map. Of course, it's new map, so the meta is not set yet, but yeah, we also saw that they didn't play in official game. This is the new lineup, so we just maybe take a little risk, and we knew that we can win this.
Awesome, and the next one, Nuke. Prism should be pretty happy about that. We know he's a good Nuke player. Are you confident on Nuke?
Yes, I mean, I think we played also really good on this map, on the Prax, so yeah, it's hard to say as well because we didn't play official on Nuke yet. I think this is a good map for us, and I'm sure we can fight.
Well, awesome. I'll let you go be with your boys, but back to the casters and a little break, and then we'll be heading up to map 2.
Yes, map 2, where Liquid are going to have to turn their fortunes back around here. Definitely looked for a 2-0 from their tier 1 perspective. That's no longer possible, Dweg. Is this result concerning? Is this opening map going to put some doubts into whether Liquid can take Nuke?
A little bit. I think for Sparrow, he was pretty relaxed with that one, not setting expectations too high. Look, he's an experienced guy, right? He's been around early in Tier 1, let's say early in his career, but Tier 2 for the majority of it, right? And he's transitioned into coaching these last couple of years. He recognises it's still Liquid. It's still a Tier 1 side. It doesn't matter now if we're going into Nuke and we're good on it in Prax. Tier 1 teams are Tier 1 for a very good reason. So it's going to be difficult, and it's not going to be an easy 2-0, but it's winnable. It's definitely closable in this scenario.
Well, Nuke being a common pick, 14 wins in the last 3 months for the Poles. Surely confidence must be riding high for their perspective as we head into Liquid's pick of Nuke after this break. Well, here in that opening series of Stake, Pulse beat one, Liquid weren't quite able to get past the finish line over on Cash. May have brought it back to an OT, but a 16-12 result for the boys of Betclic gives them a 1-up in this best of 3. However, it is Liquid's pick of Nuke coming up next here, Dwayne. The Stake Gods do still have them as favourites here, but that gap has closed significantly since the start of the best of 3.
Yeah, and for Liquid, at least at the major, their Nuke looked quite good. They played it against Big, got themselves a 13-10, picked it against Heroic, got themselves a 13-5. The thing is, Betclic love Nuke and Coalesce love Nuke. Like, both of the cores, or at least both sides, have been picking a lot of Nuke throughout this year. And I look at the Betclic side thinking they've beaten OG on this map when it comes to the LAN environment. They've beaten Metasport, and even the Coalesce boys, they beat that Focus team a few months ago when they were playing as the core 3. So when you've got the polls that are trying to create the super team and both love Nuke, they know that the 2-0 is definitely doable.
Indeed they do. You talked about the threats that can be generated by the polls, the opportunities available to them in this best of 3 series. Even though Liquid will be the clear and obvious favourites, an upset is not out there on a possibility, and I think we've seen proof of that on map number 1. The question is, will we see that for proof on map number 2 the same? That's the next big stepping stone here for the Betclic side, because Liquid, you must imagine, have gone away from that opening map, said, listen, that wasn't good enough. We have to get a lot better, because we should now be one of the favourites in the competition. Maybe you could take a look at O2 earlier and said, okay, probably between them and Liquid to make it into the grand finals. Maybe throw a few more sort of dark horse names in the mix in Group C and D. But with O2 being eliminated, Liquid should be our tournament front runners by ranking alone. And, well, I mean, they're one map away from getting knocked into the decider game as opposed to going through first seed.
Yeah, and that just tells you everything about how this tournament is already panning out. Upsets occurring on day number 1. I would say an upset has occurred here on day 2. I know that's only a single map, but when you're not dropping maps to Vitality and G2, should you ever be dropping maps to Betclic? Absolutely not. It should be a 2-0. It should be fairly clean. Now, they came close to being able to win Cash, to be able to bring that comeback forward, but now moving out onto Nuke, I'm going to be keeping a close eye on some of these players, because Prism, I thought he had some very good calls for the majority of the time out there on Cash. It's more so in the first half than anything else. But on LAN in the last 3 months, the in-game leader is averaging a 1.34 rating. That is insanely high. So I think Prism recognizes I need to step up and I need to really deliver as much as I can if we want to try and cause even more damage here on Nuke.
Well, in terms of the stars that established themselves over on Betclic already in this series, I have to say that the existing Clock Q stood out to me quite a lot throughout the course of that Cash, just as initial sort of basis of performance here. I know that Exist actually top rated on HLTV from that opening map, but Clock Q in the early game had a lot of impact that really generated that advantage that Betclic ultimately won off the back of. So are they guys to watch out for on Nuke too?
I would say, yeah. I mean, Exist is more in some of those anchor roles, but I mean, we saw that, what was it, the multi-frag he had on the forklift when he was getting pre-aimed and detected by a Liege coming up from highway. He can be really rock solid, and even though this team's quite young, I think you've got Clocker that's 21, Exist that's 21, you do have guys that have participated in the tier 2 level for many years across their careers. So they recognize the opportunity that sits in front of them right now. And I think for JT, right, he played 227 maps on HLTV with a Liege while on Complexity. Mate, we need to see that duo and back together again.
Indeed, we do. I want to see a little bit more from those guys. I want to see them find that impact. I want to see them give themselves a bit more of a G up here. I think Liquid will need some sort of a pathway back into this best of 3, and I think it might well come from that duo. Yeah. I think one of the concerns is the fact that you are down in terms of how Betclic have been looking so sharp. You've got some serious performers on this Polish side, and it's just like, with all the doubts that plague into you, with all the concerns around this side that have been going back for an extended period of time, and with now potential threats being generated by what is essentially a mid-pack tier 2 team as of right now, there might be some mental strain here on the Liquid side in my eyes.
Yeah, I really thought we were going to get Nuke in that last series between Betclic and TLR. Both of those teams historically have loved Nuke, so that's why I thought it was going to be a map pick for either one of the squads, but I think that's where Artist had a little bit of a curveball and went to go in with the Cash pick instead, and that's kind of what Betclic have done. I mean, I thought their two only options were going to be Anubis and Nuke, so you get Nuke as map 2 and you get Anubis as map 3. If you're looking at that just from a perspective of the captaincy with the experience, the pieces around him, you couldn't ask for a better veto. Now it's about being able to put it into target and looking for that 2-0 win.
Well, Betclic will be on the CT side. Start of Nuke picking into this half as Liquid pick the map makes a whole lot of sense. And this could be another great start from them that could lead into the map win. The odds at stake do still have Liquid as favourites in this map. Very similar money line as well to the previous map. But remember that you can use code PULSE35 and place $20 down and get $5 every day for the next 7 days. So decide to place a ban on this match. Jorko's kicked things off against Demo. Friends got 2 back in the ramp control with Exist. A stunning headshot on the Jorko to take him out of the fold. And advantage taken by Betclic pretty instantaneously. Now still fighting from range. Exist will respect the position.
Well, they don't need to commit B on this. They've got plenty of time and plenty of space to re-walk back into Hell, go back into lobby, drop down into the lower portion. Now, one defender of Prism, and then Exist is going to group up with Clocku around this Hell angle.
Checks. Oh, what a shot that is to Naf. God damn. A second head not quite landed, though. JT is tagged to less than half HP. A 1v3 now to contend with. It's one thing the Liquid don't have in this context. The amount of advantage from that 2v3 and now this 1v2. Closing and opening the door. JT trying to see if he can force it forward against Clocku. Scene of his shoulder. Knows that he's close. Needs that head. Doesn't quite land it. Running out of ammo too. And Clocku puts him down for a pistol win for Betclic Apogee.
What a shot from the P2K from behind Silo. And if we just see dueling to that high standard, it's going to be a very exciting Nuke game to go and watch. Now, I think right there from Liquids, they get themselves a few casualties, but no bomb plant bonus. Shouldn't be a force buy in round number 2. Respect should be offered.
That's been part for the course for Liquid on their team side. A bit more force heavy when Betclic won the opening pistol of Cash. One breakage of patterns here. Of course, does mean that round 2 is a bit of a formality. Guns up in the next. See if there's anything available in terms of casualty damage, some weapons taken out of Betclic, a force forward of further investments, of the unnecessary investments in the next round, whether a bomb plant's possible. Taking down Jorko to kick things off. JT and Naf are fragged out by Prism out towards Hell. Demo now up the task. We'll deal with Liege and Bulbs. You got to get only 1 kill at this stage.
And it's definitely easy to recognise that Elige was a much stronger player on Complexity than what he was on FaZe. And that might have something to do with JT. Again, I think back to, what was it, the first ever Tier 1 event we had in CS2, IEM Sydney. They made it towards the grand final and nearly won a trophy. And that was when Elige was at his peak. So when you look at map number 1, didn't really do much. 15 kills, 80-odd ADR, 0.89 rating. Not a great showing from him at all. And this is now the debut for Jorko and JT out on Nuke when it comes to the LAN environment. Let's have a look to see what they're made of.
Masters on 2, M4's on 3. As the AKs across the entire board of Liquid. Treat has been a bonus weapon round here for Betclic. They can win despite the limitations. 2 men down in the corridors as Liquid will press the issue towards Secret. He's just going to see nothing. No HE is going to go down to those smokes, so no vision will be revealed on Prism and Clocku for the defensive line.
Well, this HE placement could look very good. And you don't often see CTs playing double for double doors. Normally, if anything, it's a player at the single door and another one at the double.
Up to where that HE send up. Jorko attacks that one on the face. Prism is low HP, and Jorko takes them back in return. Information spotting JT. Bombs on his back, maybe the first man in. Molotov. Turned away from kill and doesn't quite get landed there by the M4. Jorko gets 2 back as well on Friend and a backup man too. Demo is left alone with the Exist fragged out towards the top site, and all 5 are alive for Liquid. Very nice execution.
Well, you just have all the defenders struggling towards that lower portion. Not easy on the double doors and the timing with the util of the flash around the corner, but then your player towards what the top of the rafters on top of the silo was on red HP on first contact. Malv's on 10, Jorko on 2. I think if there was a little bit more individual success, there might have even been a prod for the retake. The lurk on the outside, cutting the heaven rotation, means that Liquid can go and get that first round. And for the CTs, look, money's going to be okay for a rebuy, but I mean, it's the worst outcome that you can ask for, right? Winning pistol, winning anti-eco, going into first gun round, and only holding on to one. And out of anyone that you hold on to, it's FAMAS, it's not even the M4.
Oh, Liquid on the board. Starting off their map. As Betclic will buy back in for Masters held over, and AWP in for Friend. Sarah shots in the tail end of the game there for the start of Cash. Liquid. Damage does apply towards JT quite significantly. 20 HP damage done there. Small health advantage for Betclic. The Diag smokes in for the T side as well. Second wave of util. Trying to get them back towards the secret cross. The Friend will hit the opening kill towards Ramp as Naf will drop. And the T's will back off.
They do have a lower player, but the T's seem pretty happy to take secret and then come back up for an A split. Great shot from Jorko against the A player. Needs that double, but doesn't get it.
2 for 1 overall, favouring Betclic. MO on 62, Friend on 67. HP damage. Chunky amounts against the Betclic side, but can it turn into a actual take of the site here for Liquid? Exist, prodding, catching JT on timing. Spray goes awkwardly though, the M4 can win out that fight. Upper side may be lost here. Back off, player from Heaven will drop in. 30 seconds, backup's on the way. JT's now on site, footsteps out to the left, he can't adjust back. The AWP of Friend really pressured here and dropping out of hell. Him and ClockQ may have no other options here.
That's just rubbish from the CTs. Like, that round should be over. As soon as you pressurize the door and JT is the bomb carrier and you've got the pre-aim, mate, that's the in-game leader falling. That's the bomb dropped in lobby and that round's got nothing left in it. Instead, it's sloppy individually. It's another save call. Oh, man, that would have been you guys going up, what, 3-1, then 4-1? Oh, that could have been such a good moment.
Oh, Betclic already starting to let it slip.
Terrorists win.
None of this series be front-loaded. Efficiency should shine through in some capacity. Again, they play this map a lot in the tier 2 space. Not getting wins over high-end competition a la Liquid. Could be enough in the backing to at least contest, especially on the CT side. 2 rifles staying in. Eco around it with the pistols. Will do some damage against the T side line. Jorko 17, but Naf getting that pick onto Prism. Mac 10 spreading out as well, and already it's just best to hold save call. Keep the AK in the open play especially. Liquid will have a lead for the first time in this best of 3.
We just see the Poles playing heavy for outside and heavy for ramp. They just give A. And yeah, it means you can't threaten at all in the round, but at least you can save onto 2. That's the main objective for ClockQ and for Friends. And I think for Liquid overall, I mean, at the tier 1 level, at the LAN environment, 42.9 round win percentage on T side. If you can get yourself around 6 T rounds, yeah, you'd be fairly happy with that one. Liege hoping to try and catch a bit of a straggler. Demo hoping to catch someone into the bomb blast, but not getting many opportunities.
He gets away with 1 pick. No more than that, though. The save weapon would have been really handy to the CT side in this context. And they did go harsh eco around those 2 safe rifles. There will be weapons available towards them here. A little bit of extra reserve and an AK or 2 would be unwelcome, to say the least. Friends or posted was outside once again, contested by blind fire search on by Mirage, top of Mini. Teammate, or opponent rather, getting tagged up by that Molotov exists. Tag low, taken down. Orb can't connect to Molds. Finds his head, and Liquid are all over them.
It's looking a little bit more positive as well with the play style from Liquid, a bit more greedy, let's say, a bit more on the front foot, aggressively taking fights. I think out there on Cash, majority of the T-side rounds kept it quite slow, kept it quite minimal. Perhaps now they're going into some more home territory, a map that's more familiar in the pool for them. They've got a little bit more belief, confidence in themselves. And I think that's always the way that you have to, let's say, dominate against the weakened squads, against the tier 2 opposition that are inexperienced, is you've got to give the fight back to them. You can't play nervous. You can't sit there and slow the game down. You've got to show exactly why you've got the better players, why you've got the tier 1 expo.
Pouring his teammates into the bomb site, will quickly take space and take control. Betclic had no offerings of defensive, and they have to fall back and save their guns from the outset. And Liquid up to 4-2 on the T side. A lost orb, an extra rifle held over. It's Betclic's turn to have a slow start in the series.
And it's going to be difficult for the head coach of Sparrow to just get these boys realigned from the Coalesce core to the new lineup here over at Betclic. I think it's definitely an upgrade in the coaching department, right? They had, Bogdan as the head coach, and no disrespect there, but he wasn't an ex-pro. Yeah, he's been familiar with tier 2 teams, but Sparrow played pro for many years. He played at majors in CSGO. So I think bringing someone like him forward only helps Betclic more so at the LAN atmosphere when you're playing these stronger teams. Just in the preparation. Now, at the moment, things are not going well out on Nukes. They need to keep the vibes up. They need to keep the communication strong, and they need to answer back again. They probably could have gone up 4-1 with that squeeze in there from the FAMAS out from door. But I think that's going to happen in a lot of games when you're facing off against these top squads, right? It's the what-ifs, the chances. If they're not being taken, that's when you can just get blown out of the water.
Brennan back on his AWP. Different position to find the opening pick on the boost up to look down Silo, gets his connection. The AWP of the responsive of Jorko doesn't quite hit the shot back. His rifle opposition. He's with a punch, and Brennan can't find the trade angle. Moles will walk forward with that smoke, try and get some space towards Garage. I think he's going to get quite a lot of it. The CTs have backed off pretty much entirely.
Free smoke out from the door. Naf wanted to take a fight before that smoke comes in, and Clocku, even with the man advantage, is pressing.
He's caught a kill back. Back's turned away, but ClockQ does turn on towards Naf in the end. Miles with one returner, but that's a 3-for-1 trade. With JT being low HP, with Nobs himself being tagged to less than half. Outcome does not look positive here for Liquid. At least they'll grab that bomb and try the outside committance. They've got a bit of space to work with. Maybe sneak in from main, from heaven rather, to get to the A bomb site. Backstabs are closing in against the no prism. See that bomb carrier now knows where it's going to go, now knows what its options are. The CTs will adjust accordingly.
That friend with that AWP shouldn't whiff either, just holding that crack angle. If there's any rat press, Clocku might even give them the respect of the plant.
Might have an option here. Molotov to force them back. The AK trying to engage that HE, landing close to Morbs. Time's them even lower. Eventually ClockQ gets that casualty, and JT pressure from all sides. Eventually even the orb will close in against him. It will wind Prism at least. A friend with a P2K pulled out. We'll get there back for the headshot. Close the gap to 1 round.
Yeah, nicely done from the Poles. They've got themselves a boost on the outside to win the first. They get a little greedy out there from the door, walking through the smoke. And I actually quite enjoy seeing plays to that degree. Not all the time, right? I think if you're walking through smokes every single round, it's only going to come back to bite you. They're going to have guns up. They're going to be ready for it. But you do need to try and tilt your opposition ever so slightly. You do need to catch them off guard. And Naf is never expecting someone to walk through.
Catching him flat-footed, catching him off guard. Ultimately, a play that works for Betclic. Third round of their board. Liquid. Oh, nades against them. At least a 3 points of health. Not a positive start on the outside control. spray blindly on these smokes in hopes of catching a lucky stray bullet. I got a couple of tags on Clocky, but nothing major.
And Liquid can play heavy for the outside. You've got Exist sitting back out in the garage. And then down on lower, you can have a fairly quick rotator from the AWP, a friend, or even Clocky to drop from the vent. Now I'm just getting flashed in, seeing nothing around. Not a huge amount of information at the moment.
A minute to play with. Liquid grouping up on the outside access, going to continue moving forward and going to continue with the secret angle of access. And again, they've only really got a man in garage to contend them. Rotation have to come down from ramp if they do continue with this campaign. That M4 is going to wait and hear information from players. The bomb carrier maybe. It's actually the kill that comes in against Prism to start things off. Nearly getting Naf to drop. 6 HP for him, 3 HP for Alicia. There's a number of positive trades available for the Betclic side. Demo finds one of them, shutting down the first, but Secret's been left exposed. No one's rotating to receive him, so that haven't played going to be an even greater harassment. JT spam damage down to 12. B-site's going to get gained in the meantime, and there shouldn't really be a retake here from Betclic.
Friend might be able to get one out from the doors, but they should try and block with Util, get the bomb down in a smoke.
Well, 10 seconds. Jorko gets fragged up. Molotov forcing playing on the other side. Good shot on the second man. Clocky gets JT in the meantime. Bomb plant will just come out in time. The Legions got 3 HP to win this 1v2. It's all converged against him. Excellent shooting from the AWP. He's got to pick up the big green. He knows that he's got to hit both these connections, otherwise he's as good as dead. Let's make your body shots. Demo falls first. Second man, unknown. Flash is sent against him. Block you. Hits available to him. The HE comes sent in his pouch. And he does find enough time for the defuse for an excellent retake and a very disadvantageous position for Betclic.
Well, it's just a schoolboy error. I don't know what Jorko's doing. That smoke is going down. You plant in the smoke. You can't cross out from double doors before the smoke comes in. Doesn't matter where the player is. They can be behind the rafters, up on the silo, out in ramp, mini ramp. Bro, to walk out dry like that with low time on the clock, I mean, that's just suicide. That's an easy connection for the AWP any single day of the week.
Offering the round up to Betclic. With that extra X factor. A whole lot more than just denying that bomb plant for a moment. At least they're going to get picked up and planted in time. We saw that from Elige. There's the extra effort from Friend that really tipped the round back in the favour of Betclic. This kill right here, look at it again. Split seconds away from going down 2. Liquid will reinvest. Still got a decent amount of cash in reserve too. On the road will do that to you. Betclic. Reduced to a singular man means that the funds are not quite as pleasant. Nade damage also not as pleasant either. A team nade, I believe. I don't know who's through that, but Clocky's been tagged to 62.
Yeah, so what we're seeing here is the anti-rush util for the molly towards door went down, but not the incendiary to hut. So that means that can keep getting held there from Prism, and they're just going to start walking back into hut.
Makes his move. Elige catches him. JT swings on Prism. Dismantles the aggressive player. Betclic rather well. Exists now to hold out from Mini. Mob right facing, losing his life. Meanwhile, a Friend's going to set himself up with the AWP. Shot rings out. Exists is going to be pressured. 3 men on the bomb site. Elige staggered his push. Does get the kill back. Demo with a responsive. Nearly a secondary kill. The AWP late to the marker. HE will get sent a little bit late as well. Do damage towards the Elige, but he's just got to fall back and save his gun. Might even get caught with a player in the locker room, so Chalk doesn't even need to scope up. The 5th round of reclaim the lead back for Liquid.
And tactically, I like what I'm seeing from the Poles. They're being on the front foot. They're constantly searching. They're not being afraid. I think they've just lacked a bit of quality, haven't they? I mean, out there in the hut access, you need to be going 1-for-1. You need to be able to get a trade-off. And in fact, both players walk in and just get clotheslined by the trophy entrance out there on the little rafter. And it's always very difficult to recover a 3v5, even if you've done some HP damage. And they've not had many alive in these last couple, so the rebuy in round 10, it's a weak-looking force.
or 1M4. At least the nade placement's pretty decent there from the SMG. Flash in, tries to pick a fight. The AK spray does a lot towards him, but Demo gets away with the pick on JT. HE from Prism gets 2 back with the M4 support. Now forced to trade him, so somehow Betclic are still forced a 2-man advantage. Another HE comes in against them. Smokes to try and cut them off. Jorko will get baited. Demo will lose exist, try and hold back himself. The CTs reduced in numbers, but the man advantage remains. And the AWP of Friend ready for a wider extension. They don't quite do it. They come to the closer wall until Naf extends a bit too far and Friend catches him. Jorko, 1v3.
Excellent utility usage out from Betclic. I'm really surprised that that MP9 on first contact didn't just get a clean kill. Almost wasted 30 bullets and didn't find anything, but it was the assistance of the rotate from Prism. And now Jorko is pretty much in a just unwinnable 1 versus 3. Friends, close range, gets himself a 5-5. And for the T side, there's another buy on the table, but we're starting to go a little bit back and forth. We're starting to see some scrappiness for both of these teams.
Indeed we are. And decent work being done. Try and keep this within touching distance. Betclic and put on a back foot by Liquid Streak very early into the game. First quarter felt like it was all theirs, but Liquid did it back to a 5 apiece. 7-5 best case scenarios. Both teams for turn of the half. Who will actually succeed to such? No warps in for Liquid, only the one for Friend.
Outside smokes, but no one in a position to be able to search with it. Liquid have just got a couple of late lurkers playing quite heavy for Inno at the moment. Naf holding ramp, JT with the bomb coming out. And for Betclic, there's no lobby press like there was in the previous gun rounds where they tried to just get that insertion out from Hut. Friend has looked very good with the AWP across this map.
Two men work their way downstairs in secret. Friend holds fast. I've left a couple of players downstairs just in case they need to support that B-bomb site. Counter U-turf, clock you. HE's missing from the T side, doing more damage to themselves. Mobs at half, in fact, with another nade that lands close. M4 starts backing away as the T's are just suppressed out towards the ramp entrance too. It looks to be the final hit, plenty of presence on towards it. Prism with a kill, but beyond that smoke on Jorko. Does get caught, flash blinded, exists with a response to the lead. Trades it back, Demo in the rafters, only transition to the 1 kill. Can't transfer to the second, 2v2 as a result. Good trading game from Liquid. HE sent to site though, doesn't quite get JT. Flash not sent in from Friend just yet. He's going to support the FAMAS on its entry point instead. Shut down by JT's headshot, and Naf comes up with another good kill, and by a margin of 55 HP, Liquid will win 6.
Well, I don't quite know how that's happened. That looks so uncomfortable from Liquid. Mistakes the util down from Secret. There's 3 defenders on A. Normally when time's low on the clock and you're panicking to go up A, the round should be over before the bomb even goes in. You expect a lot of impact out there at Hut, up at Mustang. Really surprised how good those trades are from Liquid. And then, I mean, look at the HE, 1 HP. That would have been bomb plant denial against JT.
Another pixel closer, and that would have been it. I imagine Leisure would have won the 1v2. Fight on clock, you at least kicks things off with HP. Naf gets the opening onto Prism. Of course, it's pistols for the most part here on the CT side. That 1M4 being mitigated, nearly neutralized. Demo's just searching around for contact. Naf, wary of a press. Teammates out there will search. Spray's a little bit awkward, so Demo can take him down. Cover a second rifle for the CT side, but can they do anything with it here? Especially as Liquid are entering into the upper bomb side with no more defenders.
Just so out of position. Alicia's peppering out there from the Hut. 2 players are now low. This is an impossible retake. You're never going to win it.
Nothing short of a miracle. And right now, none are presenting. Dealing a Friend cut down towards the outside of heaven. Of course, Betclic have no choice but to try their hand at a retake, and Jorko will get caught for the smoke on Demo, so that's 1. As Exist falls down the high HP element, 2 rifles remain. Lock immediately put out of commission, and Demo will get spammed up. JT credited with the final kill, and it will be 7-5 to get a half win in for Liquid.
All things considered, I'd say that's a pretty good first half. You lost pistol, you lost anti-eco, you got 7-5. Were the rounds clean? Absolutely not. I don't think you're too pleased with what the performance levels look like, but look, you go into the city side, you've got a little bit of momentum going, perfect position to put in a good shift and then try and go towards that third map of Anubis.
Well, Liquid definitely shake the cobwebs off. The Stakeholders now have them as heavier favourites for this map win, and understandable so. Two rounds to the good, moving into their CT side basis. Mobs will kick things off on Prism. Execution into the upper bomb site, comes into the pistol round already. Players are close. Friend will suss out Elige, but NAF has coexist in the meantime, so down to 3 men are Betclic until to return back from Clock and Friend. The man advantage sat in with them. NAF and Mobs quickly clean it up though. And the retake is successful for an 8th round of Liquid.
Yeah, Jorko getting very loud. Don't know what he's getting loud about. He looks terrible in this best of 3. At least he's trying to keep the vibes up though. And I mean, I think when you look at some of the Liquid players, I mean, you've got NAF, you've got Elige. I mean, you don't really have loud voices, do you? You don't really have guys that get pumped and get brought into that sort of environment. So maybe that's what his job is to be, try and be the loud guy of the team. I think for NAF, that was proper quality. That retake didn't actually look that promising. You're getting players cut from heaven very quickly, players out from main also struggling, and then he just starts delivering with the Julies at close range.
Putting himself at top frag in server alongside JT on his side and Friend as well, who's all on 11 kills. Tactical just got called in by Betclic 2. Moment of respite, they're fast in this map. Their moments of success. Try and find a way to get that success once again. They're on the worse half. Pretty strong T-side stats for the squad overall though, so maybe that might not be the worst thing in the world. We're going to deal with this deficit first up, and they're going to try and force the issue to try and do so. One plant bonus did aid them. And 2 Galils and 3 pistols.
Elige deep out in garage. Might have a timing up against this pistol that's just trying to press on the outside smokes. Player down in secret, everybody else playing pretty heavy for upper. Now what Exist is hoping for is that someone rotates from door down vent and starts searching outside, and that's where he can catch a timing around secret.
A lot of space gained by Exist here.
He might try and break the windows in a T roof at the same time that he breaks the glass.
They are searching to move towards ramp. A lot of men to meet them. Kill for Clock, who at least gets naffed. And the M4 of Jorko start things off though. Low HP for his own teammate. They line up for Clock. JT's backstab can try contest, drop that bomb. And now Exists flank. Left to try and recover the round.
Bro, what a read. There's 3 ramp players there from Liquid. That's just crazy. You feel for the T side because the trades are excellent. But, I mean, how can you come out on a force buy successful when there's that many CTs? Tough clutch here for Exist.
Neither men damaged. Rifle's just out of reach. JT holds the angle. Sees the wider swing coming in, puts down the man, and it will be a 9-5 score for Liquid. I guess that might be a little bit more indication of what this team can do when they're not put in unpredictable situations. Cash was a map that you couldn't really prepare for. Neither side really knowing what the other one's made of on it, and the first maps played in this tournament for both teams. But this one, very familiar to Liquid. We've done their prep work, and it's starting to show through on CT side.
I think now there's almost nothing really left of this second half. You might have the odd survival round here or there, but we've just where the scoreline leads with the momentum. Really needed the economical boost of winning that force by a few of the poles in the last. Not easy. Elige on the outside, just trying to see if he can take some fights. Nice to see that the in-game leader from JT has been looking good individually. He's what, 13 kills, 7 deaths?
He's pretty all right with the kills over on Cash too. delivering impacts when necessary. We can provide here the M4 outside access for 3 players of the CT forces. It's Jorko, last man to take down. JT with 2 of his own. Had his stats a little bit more so. Come over the PT50 as well. Right up on the A-bomb site. Can get 1 trade back, but losing the bomb, losing his teammates. A secondary kill is coming against his opposition, but no 3rd tertiary one. So Liquid are flying now. 10 to the board, 5 to the good. Rebuy will be available to Betclic here, one that they need to turn into success, else indeed it will end up being a quick and swift end to Nuke.
Yeah, we did see that Nuke got played in the online series versus Vitality, a result for Team Liquid that featured a 13-9 win. Now it's the offline environment, slightly different level of competition, but same outcome roughly with the score. Jorko going to get that AWP. You've got a 10-5 that would love to be closed down quickly. And for the Poles, I mean, come this first gun round, you're playing very heavy for inner. You're playing a lurk smoke, so potential that someone could drop in from the Ven.
Outside has been searched for on the CT side from several angles, but it's an inner take. That is through the skylights, player up at heaven. No man on the center bomb site itself. Another retake available to Liquid. They're going to back away from the utility for the time being, try setting up the utility of their own.
We don't see that very often. JT was playing heavier for the outside, and there was just no A anchor. Now this might just be a safe call. Unless a kill presents in the next 10 seconds, you hold onto your weapons and just look for exits.
Being watched from all sorts of avenues of access. I think the only players that are not watching is the outside and heaven control. Lobby being locked in by Clocky will search, get killed off. As you said though, we need to be relatively quick on those casualties, so I'll look for the exits. And kills can exist to deal with JT, Liege, and Naf being pressed against. Bring it down to that lower bomb site. The players that remain in full here for the Betclic cap. Close that gap a little bit more so here, try and get things G'd up here on T side. You had to score until that round.
And it's quite funny, I think in the past, right, with the change of the bomb radius and how it all works now, you'd always either back off towards T-spawn or you'd kind of back off towards CT. Now if you've got an A-plant, mate, you just drop vent and play towards the lower corridors. You almost don't need to leave the bomb site. Betclic get themselves up to 6. Liquid get themselves a rebuy with no issues. Slightly more aggressive on the outside for Liege, though. He's going to get himself out to Africa, but the Orb's going to press it from Hut.
Oh.
Misses a sitter.
Oh, that's tragic for Jorko, because you're right. Point blank scoped in, should have hit him. Now JT gets tag damage with taps of the AK, getting blind beyond the smoke. HE sent to prison. Made as much as he can. But they're in a very sticky spot here, Liquid.
Yeah, this does not look good. Betclic can keep pressing around A. They're not going to go into the A bomb site, though, because they've still got extremity players on the outside. Liege needs this kill against Clocko.
Base is in, Mold, not able to get much. Liege taken aback. Clocko with the pick. JT on the outside again. He's tagged up so heavily. And 4 on by Exist will take him down. 2 left standing for Liquid. Friend, oh, the timing of the walk is back. Turn towards the CT contact player, so Miles might be rolling him into a full sense of security. Clocky still finds the pick against him, so it's round done now. Naf seen towards heaven, they can adjust. Find the pick in the end from Friend, what he was looking for in the entire round. A team ace from Betclic. Take 2 on the trot. Gap's close to 3.
And round by round, this is where Betclic can just knock on the door of tilting the opposition. Not so much threatening the map still, right, and trying to go 2-0 up in the series, but just start frustrating the favourites. Make it uneasy for them in the second half. This has been back-to-back strong T rounds from them. They've looked very disciplined. They've peaked off of each other quite well. Trading is on point. And for Liquids, eventually the money is going to start dwindling away. You go in towards a light and deco here, not many upgrades at all, so it's a free round to at least the 8th.
Betclic. taking this wary. Don't know how much reserve cash is available to the Liquid side. They got 3 in a row pretty confidently, so you'd assume a lot. Mirage will dome in that fast casualty against Clock Q. So it's a secondary pick 2 on Prism, caught out with the bomb dropped. More. Not quite. Demo deals with him. Molbs' USP is next close. Quite spotted. Jorko is towards outside though. Exist will find him. Molbs not quite found out by Demo. Sees him but doesn't take a pick back for it. Friend watching for Naf. It's a 3-on-2 with rifles in support of Apogee, so don't expect there to be much more from Liquid.
Well, this has been extremely well handled. Anytime Mirage gets 2, you're going to start getting very scared that there's something still left in the round. Now, they know that Naf is the ramp player, and what they're just trying to do is slow the round down. Like, just bait in more of a peek from Malbs and from Nafly, try and catch them repositioning.
Miles gets caught with his head turned away. Naf alone with 5-7 in hand in the hopes of a exit frag or 2.
Bomb has been planted.
Escape to the roof of lobby. Maybe we're going to pick on an escaping T-side player for an exit frag, but the round itself is of course going the way of Betclic. 8 to the T ball, trying to contest this game once again.
And Naf has got himself an AK, and he might be able to get an exit frag too. If he can hold on to the rifle and get one more and just damage that T-side economy ever so slightly, you'd be very happy.
Getting up on the roof.
Terrorists win.
Naf happy they can see the position. Gun is just held over, a small positive, a little bit of extra firepower for Liquid. There's an eco in the previous, so it's best you can really do. Was looking like a little bit more with the Legion's taps. In the grand scale of things, though, to save into the rebuy is what Liquid will gain here. 10 to 8 leads still intact. That may be testing out if they can't get another one out of this one. Looked like a fast play out from Betclic past Squeaky Door, but Molotovs are getting in the way.
And JT just trying to block because they're exploding outdoor.
Flash is catching all sorts of players. Elise and JT continue to combine whilst JT was blinded. Clock got caught, tagged up elsewhere. Exist does find JT on a response beyond that smoke of Squeaky. Advantage still for the CT forces, and the bomb's been dropped deep in their territory too, so Betclic have got a little bit of work to do.
Yeah, that's a lot more like it from JT and Elige. That's a good link up out from main and door. Pressure's building. Teaser trying to fight. AWP in from the doorway when the smoke clears. Does not. Oh no, does hit the connection to Exist. Finally.
Look for a second like he didn't, but
Yeah,
he did.
I really didn't think he did.
You know, tagged up heavily in the process at least, so that's small positive, I guess you could say, for the Betclic side. Nothing that makes a difference in terms of this round of this game. Close to catching the man, ultimately no cigar, so it's number 11 for Liquid. A shutdown kind of round. Was looking like a very fast execution. Betclic caught by the flashbangs, caught by the util. Forced to cancel, forced to stagger, and ultimately staggered over themselves.
People forget that only a few months ago, Betclic were a few rounds away from eliminating a big out of that LAN in Serbia that qualified them to the IEM Cologne Major, right? So they've already been able to prove against the Tier 1 teams that they can threaten, that they can come close, that they can compete. And there's a lot of teams in this one competition that are going to be looking at this matchup, getting a vibe of just how strong Liquid look, how good Apogee are. I mean, you've got Ascend, what is it, the Bulgarians? Their last LAN was a second place at that 150k in Draklan. Brute, I know that they just won a LAN in Latvia a few days ago. We've had a chance recently of covering the Fnatic boys. They look unreal online with their new 5-man lineup. I'd be keen to see what they're like in the offline environment. And of course, for Metasport, Malo9 making his debut. Everyone's got to be keen to see that.
So many things to watch for in this tournament. It's Mayo that I'm particularly looking to keep my eyes on. Doing great things with Alliance, of course. Won a LAN out in Sweden, the ROG Journey event at the Glitch Masters, well, the Glitch LAN event, really. And there's the last act. I'm moving in with this new venture. And to cover them as they make their way through the groups, of course. From Esports in a couple days' time. Betclic. Rebuy the rifles, outside access taken with the smokes underway, and AK over the CT side will try and challenge. Now pick that one up in the previous round, adjusting towards Exist will take him down.
It looked like it was a lazy pre-aim there from Naf down in secret, but still wins the fight anyway. NWP blocks at ramp, just like they do out from door. Prism needs to get a clean entry.
Orange AT in clock, he's responsive. That's a secondary one that's a little bit more clear than the first. And a 2-for-2 trade that brings it back to evens, a retake on the table for Liquid.
Well, I don't know if it is. Like, does something present here? A save feels good. You've got an AWP and double AKs. You go in and you waste all the investment come the next round. There's only 2 rounds as the diff. Prism pre-aiming out towards heaven.
Oh, Emma might offer up what he's looking for. No, backs away. Couple feet away from going down, so important move to make. Jorko does get fragged out by the AWP friend in the end, so another AWP v AWP battle lost to the young man. Another round gained for Betclic within 2 of Liquid. Once again, they will save 2 guns out of it at least. Money state and should present to a decent enough buy, I'd say. Liquid. Once again, not allowed to get out of the woods in terms of the opposition's suppression, in terms of the opposition's potential. Betclic will not let them get away with an easy map.
Well, the Bulls have definitely looked better in the second half than what they did in the first, and that's saying something being on the CT side to start. They won pistol and anti-force, and then after that, they didn't really win many gun rounds. They've come into the second half, and they've kept things very competitive. 2 rounds is the difference right now. Heavy for the outside. The NWP's got an excellent spawn, so an opening pick is being attempted, but it goes the way of Jorko.
Revenge for the last round. Ren put down. Emma, in the meantime, starts walking out of ramp on a solo mission. Not watched already. Jorko's going to reposition that AWP and take a swing back, which he will lose. So from excellent start to not so great follow-up, and Naf can't do any better. Elise tries to, but Prism takes him back. Bomb at least revealed and tagged to 40 HP. But Malb's going to start searching to try and catch a kill elsewhere. He can use his down advantage. His back will be turned towards Exist, and indeed it is as smoke fades. Revealed himself, JT. 18 kills deep, top fragger for his side, but no control of the A-bomb site, which is where Betclic are headed. And definitely no retake this time.
Yeah, Jorko has showed a couple of cases of the classic Draken 30-degree window. I mean, that's a sitter out in hell against the ramp entrance. The first kill was a good timing against Friend on the outside, but he needs to be landing that connection, and I think this is where pressure really starts to build. This has been, what, 5 out of the last 6 rounds being won by the T's? Mate, they're coming for the 2-0 right now. They are coming for the upset.
Well, this would be quite a shock, as if we haven't had enough of those over the course of the last 2 days, have we?
And look, I'll be honest, I would have never have expected this game to be as competitive as it's been on Nuke, but I mean, when I saw the odds from Stake at the start of the day, I'm like, nah, man, like that seems extreme for a team that's only just brought in Jorko and JT against a side that is pretty good on both Nuke and Anubis and have got 2 stable cores. Like you can see the vision, even if you never have the expectation of this being an upset.
All right, let's see what we've got. Let's see what's on the table. Let's see what's on the cards for Liquid. Nothing for this round. Deagles only. Now we'll find Friend to kick things off. Just a headshot through the walls. And then you're going to hear them coming out towards the red box and try and strike him down. Staggered for a second, hit a collateral tag, but the kill goes the way of Clock Key, so we're back to a 4-on-4.
And Naf is down at lower, so is Jorko, and they've even thought about bringing JT round. So a lot of movement on the city side, and Malbs has been able to press into lobby. Now, they know it was heavy on the outside. Now, the T's can still cancel secret, they can still clear space, get into garage, get a player out towards heaven, and just try and contact for as long as possible. It's the HP bars that's really concerning for Clocku and Prism.
Now the Eagles don't need to hit the headshots, they can just hit the connections, and that'll be enough for Tag. Finishing off the job that Elige had started. JT's searching for it. Will start to fall away. Give some space over towards the T side, who are taking that access anyway. Moving slowly together. AK's in hand. Molbs. Not on the bomb side directly, but back at lobby will call for information, will call for rotations as soon as he hears the footsteps on site.
40 seconds. All about the search right now for the T's. Now, you expect that if it is going to be a lower play, they need to get a molly out through the glass and towards that double doors. That's the only way they can protect the plant from going in.
They didn't clear secret. JT does get caught by Demo in the end. Molotov sent towards Dark 2. Single door does get open. A challenge from the Mac 10 doesn't quite go well for him. 10 seconds. Bomb plant safe beyond. A harder cover as Jorko swings in. Moles will get heard. Demo will be watching for him. Swinging up the Deagle spam. Doesn't get his kill. And Betclic have just equalized this scoreboard. 11 apiece from Liquid's commanding lead of 10-5. And one more round to steal the map point first. It's game on from the polls.
And Sparrow knows how many times as a player he's been in this position, right, where you are legitimately 1 or 2 rounds away from causing a massive upset on LAN. Betclic with their LAN debut, just bringing these Coalesce boys over, are 11-11 on Liquid's pick of Nuke.
Betclic. Outside access taken by Elige as he finds Exist down to 20 HP for himself. Clocku being evaded, wary of the potential fire that could come his way from the top of Mini. Smokes and dives towards the outside. Will give some space to work for Betclic. Try and work an E-fault on the outside. Someone needs to find a trade somewhere, though.
That's just Elige being so confident in such a high impact round to break the smoke and just instantly look for a fight. Now the T's know that he's low and they're scaling. Elige has now received that AWP off of Jorko because of the low HP.
Naf. Searching for friend. Other side, flash in. Clocku going to search out Mini. Play on the outside, they contend with 2. Op shot baited. M4 leans up, takes a leg back from the likes of Friend. Nay lands on Elige towards the outside, so now he's a dead man walking. A dead man falling. 4v4, but Betclic have 25 seconds.
Good looking crossfire. The only problem is Naf is going to be out in the open and on red HP.
Friends caught JT in the meantime. Now it's been pulled away. M4 on site, though, does do well to get one of those kills. Naf deals with the next man. Bomb lost to the T side. Naf so low. Clocku leaning up. 10 seconds. He takes himself away. Naf knows to hide. Bomb recovered. Put down a harder cover. AWP caught back. Naf hidden. Clocku. AK searching. Molotov sent to the left-hand doorway. Peek to the right. And he sent that direction too. Naf just barely evading his casualty. As he turns up his bursts. And with less than 10 points of health, brings home a clutch that puts Liquid on map point.
Bro, how have they won that round? Oh my goodness. They give him respect in the clutch. They try and force him out with the util. Molly to the left, HE to the right. He should be finished. High HP up against red. Oh, what a clutch. That is vintage Naf. And it's Liquid powering through.
Huge round. Yet to see one of those classic moments. Huge hero-like plays. And Naf delivers in whole. Betclic behind by only 1, of course, up for the rebuy. But surely should feel like that should have been theirs. Elige on the outside, contested by Clocku, drops off from Silo, gets his pick in, starts things off, disappearing to Africa. The Orba Jorko's watching for him, but now can't contest the rest of the outside. Molbs in the meantime deals with Demo elsewhere. Top of the hut, AK upgrade, 4-on-4.
Bullish on the outside from the T's to try and hit them with pace. down towards that lower bomb site. You've got Malbs that's rotated in from the door, and he's upgraded himself from an MP9 to an AK after that door pick.
And now holding for headshots. I'm going to get friend boosted to check the double doors entry path first. It's all down to Vents and Decon for the time being. JT looking to lean. Turn away towards the back line. Good shot for Malbs. Attention drawn away from JT's double. And now Clockyu remains alone. A 1v4. Oh dear. Apogee. Betclic couldn't quite hold on to the one important round that ultimately will cost them in the end. 13-11 for Liquid. They'll take us to a third map.
Oh, that should have been a 2-0 win. When you've got a 2v1 up against NAF on 20 points of health, that's it. That's finished. Liquid's buy would have looked horrendous there in round 24. You would have just been able to slow in the default. But that is the inexperience from Betclic coming to the best of them.
Indeed it is, and heroics from NAF in particular. You're 100% right about how that round played out. Without his 1v2, it would have been a 2-0 for the Betclic side, and that might have been opportunity wasted too. Now we're going into Anubis, a good map from both sides, but equally so, Dwayne. That was a huge opportunity missed out there for the Poles.
It was, but I think as well for Liquid, bro, this is just a wake-up call. Like, it doesn't matter if this is LAN. Bro, how are we going overtime on map 1 and full rounds in regulation versus Betclic? Like, these are tier 2 players. These are not tier 1 veteran LAN players. This game is way too competitive for Liquid's chances. Like, this is a squad that really should be coming in and steamrolling this opposition.
100% you're right about that much here. It should have been a 2-0 from the outset based on the rankings alone, but the reality is that they are struggling at this present stage. They are a brand new team in terms of the 5-man unit. They've just had some new additions. They've just brought in JT, just brought in Jorko, so they're still clearly trying to bed situations and bed the protocols together, because otherwise it wouldn't be nearly that close. I imagine the talents on the roster would definitely stack up to be able to overwhelm these guys otherwise, but the reality here is that you are a bang on. They are being tested on the part of the Liquid side, so they will survive, move on into Anubis. Before we get to that point, though, we've got Coach DP still down on the stage.
Yeah, I'm still here with NAF. I managed to catch him, and I know this stuff is everyday shit for you, but that 11-11 clutch just a couple of minutes ago, can you talk me through it, that 1v2?
Yeah, I don't know. I played it right, I guess. Got a little bit lucky, dodged the nade, survived with the X amount of HP that I had left, and yeah, just won the aim duel.
And I also wanted to touch on, I heard Jorko speaking a lot in this last round, telling you guys to rotate secret, really confident in his information and making you guys move around. Is it nice to have a 17-year-old guy being this confident to control the map as well when he has a central position with the op?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's an extremely important role within the game, and he needs to speak up and talk, or else we're gonna kind of like lose maps. So it's very important with a role like that. So when you're always constantly moving, you always see the entire map. So you need to take charge. If you can't be a pussy in those rules.
Well, that's true. Well, couldn't say it better. Back to Dwayne and Jay, and ready for the third map in a couple of minutes.
Indeed, a very exciting one. Could be up to task here. Dwayne, we talked about the possibilities of Anubis and how both teams like it, and well, now it's going to have to be that final battleground. Considering what we've seen in terms of closeness, the overtime for map 1, the 13-11 for map number 2, there's potential this one could also go down just as far to the wire. Could be an absolute scrap fest for both sides.
Yeah, I think so. I think for Betclic, though, confidence has got to be higher going into that decider. It's almost as if Liquid survived, whereas Betclic are overperforming, right? I mean, when you've just brought in a brand new core, that's a lot more than just bringing in 2 newer pieces. And I think at least for Betclic, they've not had the chance of playing LAN officials, right? At least Liquid got the chance of playing Spirit only a few days ago. They at least got to that environment and got to play together. Betclic looking really good touch and are looking to try and cause the upset in the decider.
And they could well do so. It's equally on Liquid to try and turn up their 2-1 series this time and take their spot in the playoffs as first seed of Group B. Anubis will decide it all after the break. Well, this series has gone the distance. We will be off to Anubis to decide whether Betclic or Liquid will be able to make their way into the playoffs as the first seed out of Group B. This match has been really unexpectedly close at times, certainly when it comes to the caliber of the opposition involved for the Liquid side. But Betclic are putting in quite a shift and are making threats out of this best-of-3 series. Could well have been a 2-0 with how things were playing out to the end of Nuke, but ultimately a clutch from Naf may have delivered a moment. He might deliver a few more come this time of Anubis.
I'm very concerned about this map when it comes to the LAN performances. So for Liquid across 2026, they've never won Anubis on LAN. They're 0-4, and okay, they've lost it to Spirit, they've lost it to G2. Bro, they lost it to Sashi back in March. Like, what's even going on there? How are you losing it to a tier 2 team and then losing it to FlyQuest, getting 2 rounds in an entire Anubis map? You then compare that to Betclic. Mate, they pick this map very frequently. It's their #1 map in the pool. They pick it on LAN. They've got some really good results. They even beat Big on this 13-6. So right now for the polls, they recognize, yeah, with what we've shown in the series so far, look, we could have even picked Anubis in this one best of 3. Let's try and give it towards Liquid now.
I think that they might well be able to do so, honestly. Like, the way they've been impressing me so much is like, on the one side, I look at Betclic and I say to myself, man, these guys are really putting in a hard shift. Whereas I say on Liquid, they're barely getting by some of these contexts. Like, that should have been a 13-11 for Betclic's favor on that Nuke. It came down to Naf again, pulling off a miraculous 1 versus 2 that ultimately let that map to come their way. And I'll stress it again because it really was the difference maker. If that hadn't come down, it would have been a win for the polls. So they feel like they're in the driver's seat. They feel like that maybe they might have lost a little bit of edge having not taken the 2-0, but coming into this map, they're coming into comfortability. They're coming into a map that Liquid haven't always proven to be the greatest upon, especially when it comes to LAN performances. It's only online where the map really starts to find its successions, and so we're not online. We're in this environment where the polls are going to test you, I think.
And we need to bring up Liquid's poor results at Tier 2 LANs across this year. I know it's a slightly different iteration of the lineup, but mate, when they went to Drac LANs Season 6 back in March, they got a top 8. Like, you're losing to M80 and Sashi out of all teams. You go to Roman Imperium Cup number 6 back in March in Portugal, you're losing to Familico in a best of 1. You're losing to Gaming Gladiators, knocked out in the semi-finals by OG, knocked out in the 3rd, 4th place decided by Alliance. Yes, they're known for playing in the IEMs and the Tier 1 circuits, but in the few occasions that they've dropped down to these Tier 2 events, not only have they not won them, but they've been getting knocked out fairly early.
And that's why this tournament's a litmus test for the new roster, because now we're going to get to see not only how well they did at Blast Bounty against the high-level squads and how they will do online and on LAN against high-level squads, but also in the Tier 2 space, because I think that those results definitely are shoddy for a team of Liquid's caliber, for an organization of their name value. They need to be doing a lot better in terms of the CS circuit, so nothing short of, at the very least, a grand final, if not a win, I want to say, with Hotu's elimination, should be a minimum marker for this side. And right now, I'm concerned that at the very least they're not going to get the highest seed to be able to maintain that kind of level. If they're being tested by Betclic, there are a number of squads as well in the other 2 groups that will give them a testing show.
Yeah, but we saw Betclic picking this map against TLR in the first game, and they went up, what, 6-1 in the first half on the CT basis. They ended up getting themselves an 8-4, lost pistol, instantly won the force buy, and basically just closed that map down pretty quickly. Now, on that Anubis, we had Demho going 20-9, Exist going 18-12, Friendly Orpa going 15-9. You look over at Jorko and go, right, map number 1 at Cash, he went 13-16, and map 2, he went 14-17. I mean, to be averaging a .80 rating as a main Orpa after just beating Vitality and G2 online, that doesn't look good. I mean, he needs to find a lot more comfortability on this 3rd now.
It feels like right now his main weakness seems to be the on-LAN environment more than anything else. And I will say that just watching how he's tested himself across this series, it hasn't exactly looked like the most confident game in the world. So there's a lot of question marks above him and above how Liquid will maintain themselves here. Because again, this is a threatening map up. I can't stress that enough from the Betclic side. So let's see how far they'll go with this one. Liquid will take the knife round, so I'm going to assume that they'll go in towards T-side bases at first to start. And if anything else, you need a positive start just to maintain momentum going into this final map.
And this is going to really test JT as a caller, because they were picking Anubis against the Vitality, against the G2, against the Spirits of the world. But when you go down to Tier 2, it is a slightly different play style. I think there's a lot more confidence on offer for the younger teams, a little bit away from by-the-book CS when you drop down in the divisions. And when you're going up against a side that is picking Anubis in almost every single best of 3 online and on LAN, they're going to have some very good fundamentals. The Coalesce core and even the Betclic roster, they're coming for an upset.
Indeed, it will be T-side beginnings for Betclic. sorry, excuse me, for Liquid, excuse me. They pick into the better half of this map, the final one of this best of 3. Winner goes to the playoffs. Loser takes on TLR immediately after the fact. So, be a very long day for Betclic if they can't get this one past the finish line. Blocks pulled out, USPs to stand of retention. Demo and Clock you, 2 sets of Julies on the side defensive, spamming away with the kills. Clock you into Prism with 1. Clock you in for a 3rd kill, doesn't quite get it, eventually does do so. JT's on 9 points of health, they absolutely decimated. Riddle with holds for a pistol win for Betclic.
Well, that is quite a statement to start off with the pistol. There's always the caveat when you're the underdog team of getting started on the right foot, okay, winning pistol, winning first gun round, etc., etc. But when you can win a pistol with 5 alive and you've just farmed them, like everyone's getting destroyed, everyone's getting pumped, that's when confidence is really high and that's when the belief really starts kicking in. For JT, I mean, even 1 kill feels impossible when you've already been gooshed down to 9 points of health. Demo takes a little bit of a fight in there from the canal around Electric, but Liquid get off to a slow start on Anubis.
Something they can't really afford at this stage of the matchup. They've lost all 3 opening pistols. I've at least gained all 3 second half pistols over the course of this series. So they can keep that trend going into the second half of this map. Up for now though, down on the back foot. No bomb plant bonus obviously. Liquid been tentative to force buy when it comes to lacking funds, so perhaps early rifles be available to them. Let's see what they're going to bring to the table. Let's see what they're going to contest with. Well, they are going to force the issue. Okay, upgrades, Mac 10s, Tech 9s to fold.
A very quick play in towards B. Early smoke, go for the pop setup. No one on B directly aggressive. Everyone's sitting back and playing passive.
Block you and Prism hold the 2-for-1 trades. Adjustments a little bit awkward. The M4 running out of money there. Running out of ammo, I should say. Money contesting of the SMG. A friend does get shut down by JT, protecting that bomb planter. Now known in the exact position. Exist doesn't quite catch info onto Nafly over at Glyph. Spray through that smoke will get dinked up, but Naf will get the kill alongside Jorka with a responsive. So that slow pistol round start turns into a very confident conversion win.
Well, right there, that's very poor from the site holders. When you're sitting back against any kind of B-pop, you have a huge advantage because you've got range. Now, out there from Glyph and Electric, one of those guys needs to multi-up, and they struggle, they're whiffing, they don't get away. And then, I mean, that's even courageous in a 3v3 to think that you can walk through that electric smoke and hope to catch a timing. You're just being watched instantly. So that's a failure there from Friend. And for Liquid, it's the perfect response.
It's a wonderful statement to start. Backing against the pistols, forced by back in from Betclic's perspective. JT makes light work in the mid-access. 4 kills for him on sequence. Most through them all. That's A site completely opened up. 1v5, the Prism has no hope of winning. Well, Liquid will turn the onus right back on its head, take the second, most likely that 3rd, and get started truly on the T side.
And it's a bit of a kick in the teeth, isn't it? Should have won in 2 at that 11-11 round. Didn't happen. Come into the 3rd map, you win pistol, and then you instantly get reset. We know how tough City economy can be. I would say for the majority of this best of 3, Betclic have led by example, right? They've either been up on the score or they've looked like the better team. Liquid have not been in that position. If we see a 2-1 score turn into a 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, I've got absolutely no faith in the upset. I think if Liquid get on top, they really start dismantling the early game, that's where the inexperience is going to flourish for a team like Betclic.
Terrorists win.
Are you forcing?
Elements within the Liquid side happy to get loud at this stage. Keep your confidence together, keep your hype on lock, your spirits high. Liquid. A lot of rifles available to them. M4's even saved over for a couple of 3 minutes, in fact. Bonus weapons into the first rifle round when it comes out in the next. For now, though, harsher eco from Betclic. 4th feature in the previous, got nothing for it. The ample stat towards the B site, which they're not going to lean into at all here.
Yeah, Liquid just need to keep it pretty calm. I mean, when you look at the Anubis official that they played against Vitality, they were able to get a 6-6 first half. They were able to get an 8-4 versus G2. It was the one against Spirit where they got themselves only 3-9 on the deficit. And that was the one-sided loss that they took recently. Now, even though you're up against a stack, they can still get a very easy cancel forward. You've got an extremity player outside of beam, you've got a player in the canal, so set the util up, recognize it's A heavy, and then just separate, just split.
Well, fight and lose 1-for-1 on the trades. Now recognizing the gamble stat, the bomb's going to stop its rotation, hit the B bomb site, the walkout from Naf will confirm it. You're going to get one more kill out on Molbs. It's a rifle to recover for Prism, another one picked up by Exist. There were AK who go for the save call with the M4s on the 2 men that dropped. Might lean in for one more frag, force out another reinvestment. Try hurt the economy state of Liquid. Them on their own reset later portions of the matchup. Exist will tickle away at JT's HP bar. Naf goes searching in from the window, just missed his mark. Does catch his man in the end. Check this corner, does go down, another kill. The AK will take him back. And Prism will keep a hold of that one rifle. 3 players worth of damage for an eco round, not bad from Betclic. 3-1 down, however, now need to get on their high horse and get back on the rifle buy.
And I could be easily convinced that if the Poles aren't winning this next gun round, that's it. They are just finished in this best of 3. I think when you're facing a tier 1 squad, when you nearly 2-0'd and you get sent towards a decider, you've got to have things going right for you early. Otherwise, that's when you're going to get pressured. Maybe that's where greed starts coming out in the overall play style of the individuals. They need success right now. And the unfortunate nature of winning pistol but then losing the force buy is that you get into the first gun round, you don't have an AWP, right? So instantly from friend, you don't have that damage dealer.
As them falls across their board. A bit more lenient to Betclic turning situations back. I mean, they brought that comeback in Nuke after all. Didn't finish the job, but from a 5-10 to 11 all, not to mention the T side of Anubis is something to always factor in. And we'll see how well they'll contend here. We've got this rifle round for the time being, which they're going to give a lot of space over towards the T side with forced out the mid control of Naf, JT, and Liege. 2 players swing. One tanks a lot of damage, but once again it's JT to open up the frag counts. The blind sprays in towards the next man. Close friend will get good by Liege. Only one man to hold a demo, but I hope that they're all grouped up. One scene, Liege, perfect flash timing will give the kill over towards JT. They will lose one in the exchange. But the round has been taken by Liquid.
Yeah, pretty clean. Betclic had a lot of players on the back foot rather than actually challenging map space. I'd say that duel looked a bit awkward out in Temple. Looked like it was going to be a duel swing, and it's a bit of separation between Naf and JT, but they still hit the good connections and use their utility in the protocol nicely to get through camera and pressurize A. Exist and Clocku are attempting to save. You've got a player outside of B, another player back in spawn. Liquid get their 4th.
The hunt can come down from Naf, not quite. Clocku. Ensure that he stays alive. Might present an AK in the later portion of the round. Either way, Liquid going to extend this lead. Not much success for the Poles in the opening rifle. Tested when the big guns come in from the Liquid side. Didn't have many big guns to speak of as well in the follow-up. Actually, they do actually get the full M4 buy together anyway, so... Drop weapons, max loss in the next. Lacking in utility quite heavily, though. That might be a little bit of a concern. Fast in towards rugs and water for the T side. 3 players total to receive. Counter utility is going to be at least there to stop the progression. Meanwhile, there's a bit of a search coming in towards B main. Flashes over. 2 go over. Naf caught blinded, but manages to get to harder cover. Caught with U2 in hand, but not going down yet.
And now just puts pressure right back on them. So you take all that space and then you just drive the CTs back into the bomb site. Great movement from Naf. And JT's been able to walk mid just like he did in the last round.
Heavy-handed on the B lean means that the Exister's going to have to hold this from the site. Turned away for a moment. Strike right now, back turned. Good spray. Friend's now into support, so the Exist goes down. Demo has to have support on this. The main entries will lose himself, but Friend will take it back to a 3-on-3. JT caught. No more mid access, and now a fourth man joins the fray. Clock you with Friend. Prism still holding down B in case there's a rotation back. It looks like Liquid are fully committed here. Bomb plant will be tapped and stuck. Naf be concerning towards the mid. Fight spray is good, but not good enough for the kill.
And knows that there's two players out there to heaven. Knows that the last player's got to be a rotator.
Jorko, turned away from Friend. A little bit of noise being made by Prism. Nearly offed himself up, but the back's turn. Good kill. Even stances. M4 fights back. Leaves that second player. Tagged up on a leash. Clock you. Needs to act quickly. He's got no kit. Making noise to the bomb site. AK jiggles. Looks for the headshot and Leash lands it.
Nice, bro.
Another clutch in from Liquid. Posting yet another here on Anubis.
Well, fundamentally, they look poor. I think for the majority of Cash and of Nuke, the tactical basis was very clean from Betclic. They were advancing. They were looking very positive. You come out towards Anubis, and JT is already camera. Yeah, they're pre-aiming him, but they're not in the greatest of positions. Yeah, it's a bit of X-Factor going the way of Elise right towards the end. But from what I'm seeing on the defaults, I think there's too much respect on offer, not enough movement across the map.
And a round where they surged all the way out towards B main 2. Orb is at least here for Friend to hit a shot on Jorko. Prism with a follow-up. Elise has to trade him right back. No split players in, so no threats towards Electric. Just these main presence players alongside a main press from Demo. Cut down by Mob, so we're back to a 3-on-3.
That's an easy kill from Malbs. Demo's going to be frustrated in himself. Elise tries to walk out there from jail, tried to get the edge of that lip smoke, but Friend is watching for it. It's a strong pre-aim.
Pick secured. Advantage well and true exists now in mid. JT's going to check his corner. Looks towards the doorway instead, drops that bomb. And Betclic. And taking 6 rounds to answer that confidence, but they found some confidence of their own. Friend ending up with many frags to his name in that one. A shutdown round that posts the second up for Betclic's side.
Yeah, Orping can be tough on the CT side of Anubis. Slow rotations, got to always win first encounters if you go aggressive. Out there from the jail, he makes it look free with that first kill. Strong reposition in for the second. You want to see that a little bit more often. Round streak is finally over there from Liquid, and it's an answer back from the polls.
One player seen out on the T side. Jorko only tagged up by the Orb battle. It takes down Clock You and a swing back in. Trying to get himself G'd up here. He's had a very awkward series. Of an awkward round himself, hitting that one connection on 32 HP for the rest of the play.
Well, it seems like it's just a standard A exec. Get yourself in with a camera smoke, maybe bricks molly, get another molly out there towards the entrance of the default. No one on A. The CTs are looking to try and make an info play towards mid instead.
As the util comes down to that A-bomb site. The fall back and save, seeing them already escape towards Temple, escape towards top mid. They actually rotate back in all the same. This is our scent. The AK spray comes up good from Elise. Demo can take him from beyond that camera smoke. It will fade, and he doesn't see anything more. Nothing that will this entry path at least. I'll rotate to exit frag positions, but does not look like a retake here for Betclic. Struggling to get themselves involved. Even with a good lockout round, the follow-up just is not there.
And you can tell me, it doesn't matter what the percentages might say, Jay, of T-side versus City-side of Anubis, they're getting pumped. Like, they're just getting fried, okay? And you can't come back when this is the case. Liquid have not looked threatening throughout the majority of this best of 3. They are now. They've really stepped up their performance when it's come to this third map. And for Betclic, it's kind of gone from them dominating to them now just surviving, just kind of holding on as these rounds pan out. I'm not sure what they can adjust, because I think they've made adaptations. We saw the round where they went 2 towards B main, they didn't catch off Nav. They go aggressive out there towards Electric to look for the opening kill towards Water. They get a leg shot, then they lose the AWP pick back to Jorko. They are advancing, they're getting on the front foot, they're just getting outclassed by quality at the moment.
And quality from the favourites that we haven't always seen. Definitely seeing it now. 6-2 on the Liquid board. Betclic saving their weapons, conservative above their approach to the CT side of the lead by. Orp flash timing against him is absolutely perfect, protecting Jorko, protecting the rest of the team players at water. And these will be received elsewhere. Moles tagged to just under 60. And the mid walks again from JT as Naf finds an opening kill towards B main. Prism first to fall. Act out against Clock next. Electric going to be wary of the AWP player and all. Exist and Friend will get 2 trades back elsewhere in mid on the A site. That might turn things back towards them. It really rests on how Naf will contest with Clock.
Well, Naf's going to hear the CT rotator. You would expect to get the kill against Exist, and then Clocky's going to get sandwiched.
Oh, Jorko been at the shot at close quarters with the AWP. Naf still waiting for him to act out. 2v4. Naf turned away from a flashbang. Clock goes in, but Naf adjusts right back to his head. B side's pretty opened up. The problem is the bomb's nowhere near them. They can take the bomb site, but we've got a hunt for the kills above the Betclic side. Naf finally going to start to go back towards top mid, try to grab that bomb. But time is of the essence here.
Well, Mabs just needs to live. If he lives on the bomb site, Naf can get that bomb and bring it back into B.
He's up there, the CT's taking space. The flash time is perfect against Molbs, who catches damage, but not the kill. Demo takes him. The smoke towards that cross will fade, leaving Naf completely exposed for Betclic's next round.
Well, Naf's going to be annoyed at his teammates out in mid because not only has he got to pick on B, but he's out jail. All they need to do is bring that bomb across into B and the round's finished. Instead, we've got, what, the NWP from Friend gets a pick. There's another rifle with the AK that gets another one out there from camera. So it's the mid-impact from the CTs that sets up disaster for Liquid.
Picks from Friend and Exist. Friend right as much as he can in this matchup thus far. Elysian Naf gonna cut down Clock in Prism on the contrast. Exist has done got a lot of work to do. AK on site, flash off, seen there. Good engage from Demo, who lines him up. Triple secured, will burn at the back lines, but he's done enough to be the hero. The last man of JT known, the bomb dropped as well. Orp in contention, HG to try and clear the space. They're going to wait for the captain to make the move. The aggressive stance at half HP. Surely he's locked out of this round.
Surely they're starting to get rattled now. Oh my goodness. Double entry instantly. All you need to do is guns up, get the trades out on B. And somehow, some way, the CTs have brought this back. 3 from Demo. And JT is in one of the most unlikeliest of clutch scenarios.
Going to isolate the perfect fight. He snuck in to grab the bomb, and I think they've recognized that they've lost it. So, beginning their rotations. Exist hears him. In comment over. It's not mid. Hold the A site. JT. Orp scoped in to see the shoulder. Connects onto it. And waste no more time. Betclic. A little bit flustered throughout the course of this half, but this is their 4th round on the CT side, 2 in a row too. And the reserve cash not exactly flourishing for Liquid.
We don't see this very often. Again, look at the round from Demo. There's a bit of distraction being pulled by that Yeki player, but for him to get 3 running out of Temple is just crazy. And it's about time we saw some heroics, I want to say, from the polls, because there's not been many moments where we've seen high levels of X Factor from them on Anubis. That's a little bit more like it. And this is where Sparrow and co, I mean, they just need to go 6-6, right? You need to use this slight little momentum that you've got towards the tail end of the half, maximize the rounds.
Two rounds still to the good on Liquid's lead, but this T-side advantage could evaporate right in front of them. Again, can't afford the full set weapons, it's pistols only. Betclic should be set in for a simple 5th, a 7-5 advantage, maybe the only thing that Liquid can get out of this. Nice nade set, Jorko and Leash, tag low.
HG just keep coming. Oh, up against the anti-eco. Well, it tells you one or two things. It tells you, first off, you've done quite a lot of damage, and secondly, there's mass players outside A. There just has to be, otherwise why would there be a rugs lurk on an eco? So Prism walks out B. You've got, what, 3 defenders on this A bomb site? Yeah, good luck getting a plant.
Hold from Demo's good. No mistakes made, nothing punished on Liquid, nothing available for them to punish. Jorko, rough time in this series and couldn't do much on 19 HP there at a pistol and a 1v5. Mowed through. Betclic looked locked out of the CT basis, were getting pummeled at a certain point. Now, the landscape of the game starts to shift in their favor. Go evens on the CT side, go to that T side half. And just make monstrous work out of this final map to take down Liquid in what would be the shock of the tournament thus far. An old core with new additions. Flash is sent, Morbs catching none of it. Kill gets found on the first demo. Second man does get traded back, but Elite's caught another one in the meantime. Galil back at Jorko, does find his 2 returners. And Liquid respond in kind, so it will be a 7-5 half advantage for them. No even stance of Betclic, but they've done a lot of work to bring the gap back to a manageable position.
Yeah, good to see the pressure out there towards A, just kept driving those CTs forward, and Jorko didn't get caught in the open or with nades out. He's got his weapon drawn, he's anticipating fights. Nothing that Prism's going to be able to do in a 1v4. So Liquid will be very happy with the 7-5 advantage that they got. They put themselves in a good performance. They look a lot cleaner. And this match might have similar vibes to the Ho2 upset. I know that Ho2 aren't a Tier 1 team, but at least they participate in the Tier 1 circuit, both online and on LAN. And for them to go down to EAC, I mean, that's just an unacceptable loss, right? That should never be happening. It should always be Ho2 topping out that group, getting themselves a good seed into the playoffs. So Liquid just need to recognize that that's happened already, and I suppose just respect the opponent, right? That's all that can really be said when you see an upset like that yesterday.
The state goals at the turn of the half have started to tip in Betclic's favor ever so slightly. It was a little bit more one-sided. Liquid still rated as our series and map favorites here. 1.25 to 3.50. Remember to use code PULSE35. Take a bet on this matchup. Betclic quickly into the pistol execution. Onto the site. Mole struggling with his pistol. Can't hit the headshots. They close the gap against him. Clock you catching the opening kill of the half. Bomb plant can be secured. Back at main. Meanwhile, Exist going to utilize the attention turn towards the bomb side to catch JT with his back turned. And a 5-on-3 now. Locks in the Betclic. Liquid. Got Naf in mid. Next port of call. Friend does get domed.
Yeah, Jorko needs kills because the T's are taking space. He just gets fried, though.
Jump face to force his crosshair off. Clock Q takes the engagement. Prism caught a Legion of Trade. And Naf, known to them, needs an ace in this round to clutch it. And I think he knows as good as anybody else that he is locked out. Pistol win for Betclic. For the first time in this series, one of these sides have taken back-to-back pistols. Records 4-2 in pistol rounds across this best of 3 to the favor of Betclic.
It is a bit worrying about the anti-force buy, though, right? I think when we consider back what happened to round number 2 out on Anubis, it was a B-pop. You had both of the riflers playing range, and both of them just get overwhelmed. It's a 3v3, and then there's a walk through the electric smoke, and it's just individual mistakes. Now, that can't happen again. If Liquid decide to go for the force buy on the city side, get MP9 armor, pistol armor, and buy it up, you can't be losing to that investment if you're Prism. And yes, there is going to be a force buy on the table.
Betclic need to hold their nerve. Not blunder this situation that they find themselves in. A chance to overtake Liquid for the first time on Anubis ever since that pistol round win of the first. As you mentioned, the second round by Steel has been come back from the Liquid side, and they've been in control ever since. As Jorko with a scout hits a headshot on the demo to kick things off. Exist finds a responsive on JT. Elige flashed off, blind at point blank. Exist still gets the kill.
And this is where you just freeze up. All right, you got your mid player taking map control, drawing in rotates. Everyone else is hitting B, but exists. All he's doing is distracting.
All three men are up to challenge him, so with the B execution inbound. Oh, Moles will get the Deagle shot while spamming through the smoke, so that's something. The round itself shouldn't really be contested. Moles is on 32. Gonna lean up though, the Deagle. Moves ever closer. The FAMAS fights of Naf in the back lines, does not catch the kill on Prism. Prism returns on him. Now Mobs is even lower with another tag to his name. Got to get out of there. Save the Kevlar. Jorko save the Scout. It's unfortunate one of the best shots out of the entire series from him is gone to waste. That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. The break round steal not in for Liquid this time.
And this is Betclic coming in with a lot of hunger. Again, I think when you've got 3 players that have literally not been salaried for 8 months of the year, when you finally arrive home and you get contracts and you get on LAN, it's just such a relief of pressure. It's a conversation that we have so frequently in Tier 2. Man, it is tough. Like, there are just players retiring and getting full-time jobs because they cannot play CS. And yet, right here, we've got an Augless core that have come over and they should have beaten Liquid 2-0. They're in a position to threaten a 2-1. Like, how are we in this conversation right now?
Good shot from Elise. Wants to try and provide the excellence required for his side. When caught by that flashbang just as bad as the T side were, and JT's access and search towards mid does not yield similar results. Elise. Oh, that's another good headshot. The blinder of a kill. Demo's forced to trade back. Naf himself is low HP. A side is a little bit open. Scout in from Jorko, tucked underneath for Prism. Damage off without the kill. Force him away. Mid doorway access, flash forward. Both players caught blinded. Liege could not get another.
Liege is definitely providing something in this round, but the T's are still pretty controlled outside of B. They're not over-peaking. They're not scaling too quickly. They still have Malbs to deal with out in Glyph. The molly placement's going to have to be good.
Forced out, dead to right, so Legions hit some more blinders. 2 heads secured, Scout shot connecting on damage of another man, but Elige forced away. Can't get the connections he's looking for, and now's the last man to save. Found a different angle for exit frags, but certainly no retake available to him. Betclic. Take their 8th T-side round up now on the lead, ahead of Liquid, who will bring their true rifle bite into the next.
And I don't know if we've been clear about it. This is actually the LAN debut and overall HLTV debut for the new Betclic side. Since they brought in the newer pieces, they've not been playing online officials or at least seeing them in qualifiers. This is the first outing where at least Liquid, we've seen them at Blast Bounty. We got to see them in 2 online officials. We got to see them in a best of 3 versus Spirit. At least you got a sample size. Bro, you've got nothing if you're the Poles. You've got, what, 1 best of 3 earlier on today against TLR and now facing a Tier 1 giant.
Yeah, here they are, holding the advantage. Damage was heavy in the previous round. Maybe there might be an opportunity for Liquid to find economical deficits against the Betclic side. But Jorko, first of all, does not indicate such. Fast in towards main. Morb's trying to trade him back, but only 1 kill secured. Friend returns the favor. Elige, 2 to line up. Only 1 goes down. The bomb carrier, scene of demo. Tapped up by the Bald Eagle. 3 on 2. Betclic. Last 2 men known towards mid. The bomb, of course, secured. JT would at least get caught by some blind sprays if exist. Nafly trying to return the favor. Taking tag damage and return to an even man stance, but again, the bomb is in CT control.
And Elige is expecting one of those mid players to drop down into the water and create this angle. The NWP just wanting one to fall back. That's an unbelievable hold coming out of Elise. Seriously good crosshair placement, but it's still a 2v2. This is still workable for the T side.
Exists HP, maybe a limiting factor. Fall away from main, smoke on the entry path. They still have suspicions of a counter rotate of some sort of active play, but they still believe that it's going to be mostly mid. That's why Elise is rotating back here to account for a position. They've got flashes to get into main with. Another smoke comes out, nades on, Exists barely alive. Swings in dry, Elise connects him, looks back to the other side as ClockQ leans up to grab that bomb. 18 seconds. Making a runner for it, going towards that B bomb site. I think they know about it though. Quick rotations. I don't know if the bomb's going to get here in time, actually. I think it's barely going to make it. Just beyond harder cover. Fortunately, no one's coming in from Temple. All on ClockQ. Both men inbound. Elise challenging. Flash end to the left. Peeking into the right. Rhythm. Straight on that fly. Sees Elise and nearly takes him. 20 HP. The frustration coming out on ClockQ as he nearly pulls off the heroics for Betclic. But once again, it's another clutch going the way of Liquid.
Bro, just like how? Like, how are these rounds so close when you then see what Elise is doing? Oh man, that's a crazy moment, and there's been quite a lot of what-if moments throughout this best of 3 from Betclic where they've almost got themselves a clutch situation in their favor. Oh, that hurts. Because that then would have been, what, 10-7? And you would have just full tilted Liquid. Incredible hold from Elise out there on the A-bomb site. 20 points of health. Oh, just one more bullet away.
Well, Liquid find their near reset, forced by back in from Betclic, rather quick into the main control. Jorko's off, can land that first flashbang, scheming and blinded for Morbs to mow through two. The faster pace dealt with well, the bomb dropped again in A main. And a 1v5 for Friend to play with. Tech9 pulled out, Jorko hits a stunning flick. And Liquid back in the lead, back in control.
Well, I think that's the first time in a while we've actually seen some good synergy coming out of Liquid. I think the rounds that have been won, or at least contested in the second half, have been individual heroics. Right there, we get a bait and switch. The M4 provides quite a lot of damage, while the AWP is also doing the same. And for Liquids, I mean, they definitely opened themselves up for this comeback of Betclic, but now it's like, right, let's lock in. We've got AKs to work with on the city side. We've got the economy in a really good position. Teaser on an eco. Let's start farming it and closing it down quickly.
A 10-8 advantage. Coming in rather easily, nothing contested by Betclic now. I'm Sparrow, I'm calling it tactical right now. You've really lost control of a lot. But no such timeouts will exist for them. Betclic move forward onto Dawn. A rifle buy set in. Liquid could well claim their series with.
And Jorko's got an aggro 2 rounds in a row. The last round, he was playing with that AWP closer towards A main. Now he's bringing it out to B.
JT extending past Canals to try and challenge the T sideline. We hear them in top mid, so we'll call that out to his teammates. It's being searched for, now being taken. Elise and Moles will respond by taking presence away from the A site and the A main control. A backstab may well come in for JT in the M4. Searching, backs turn, checked by Prison. Dropping that bomb, second man does trade.
At least they know the bomb control, and this is now where the A players might try and press a little bit more. You've got Malbs and Elise quite close towards A main. Jorko just about escapes.
Repeaks to hold the angle more permanently. Betclic continuing to press on. Mid control, look to be searched. Naf's in contention for it. M4 wraps the corner. Just Cat with utility caught out. Friend down as well. Clock Q responds, but Mobs is there for a response. The timing just working better for Liquid. Demo just doesn't know what to do here. Snuck past the CT line, may work his way into the A bomb site. 20 seconds to get 2 kills, grab the bomb, commit it to bomb site, and then deal with Elige. Too much to handle. The AWP searches, Jorko lands another. Liquid. 2 more to the win.
And just the threats have really only come from the start of the halves from Betclic when it comes to this decider. Not like it's been in map 1 and map 2. And I mean, yeah, it's going to live rent 3, isn't it? The 1v2 that NAF is able to win, but then also that 1v2 that Clocku nearly wins out on the B bomb site. If those rounds go differently, what's the outcome of the series? Well, certainly not how it is right now. Liquid should be able to close this out 13-8. The momentum's certainly gone. Confidence isn't quite there anymore for the Poles. And I think it's a shame because most would have expected a better performance on Anubis than what you would have had on Nuke. I think just as a squad, when you're coming together for the very first time, you'd probably anticipate the Anubis after getting the official over TLR that you can show a bit more of that overall team chemistry and cohesion, but no, not quite to be.
JT finding the open up. Friend has fallen. Half-ball pistols. Prism's gone in a little bit more heavier than the rest of them, though. Saving to the overtime. They've gone there before. They have to do so again. Damage output of these pistols is not good enough. JT finding Demo with a USP from range. Tech 9 of Clock Q. Can't spam down the first. NAF will deal with him and exist. Well, it doesn't matter who deals with him, he's a goner either way. 12-8, map, match, and group points for Liquid.
Well, I think they'll certainly get some smiles on their faces when they finally close out this one. It's been a tough series, and it's been a serious wake-up call, hasn't it? I mean, there has been some uncomfortable moments throughout this overall best of 3, but the Tier 1 team is showing exactly why they're the favourites in at least the way that they're playing in both the first half and the second half of Anubis. And the numbers have still looked kind of low, right? I mean, Jorko on 12, Malb's on 10, Naf on 12. Elige has performed at a high level, and a much higher level than what he's done in the previous few maps.
Up in, Jorko shuts down Prism. The AWP Friend able to respond, but there's so many more players moving into canals. The AK so aggressive. Friend's back, he's turned towards him. Spray's good. Back upstairs. Demo traded by Malbs. He takes Elige down in the mix. 3-on-2. Elige has just done enough to gain the advantage. Now Malbs can extend it by finding the spray on Exist. Clock Q stands alone to save Betclic. But it looks like it's lights out for this series. Lights out for the top seed of the polls. A very good effort. Damn near a 2-0 for them. Maybe if a 1v2 hadn't come down from NAF's perspective, then maybe it could have been them in top seed. Instead, Liquid look for their 13-8 on Anubis. Their 2-1 series over the Polish side. Just taking one phase to lock it in, make it official. And Moles does it in a single bullet. There it is. Liquid survive the onslaught, survive Betclic.
And both teams, I would say, will be fairly happy about this outcome, okay? For Liquid, they guarantee top seed. They look at today being a stressful day, but we're into the playoffs. For Betclic, this is a brand new roster with a brand new core, and you've nearly 2-0'd a Tier 1 squad of Liquids. You've got to be happy with the overall performance levels from Betclic today.
I mean, certainly so. I do also think there might be a slight air of disappointment because of the fact you couldn't quite get the job done. Again, you had a 2v1 with NAF on 9 points of health, and that should have been the end of the series right there and then with the state of being for the Liquid side off the back of that. That should have been enough to maintain the series win, but ultimately it wasn't. And that is going to be something that will be one of those what-ifs, right? You mentioned the what-ifs coming in from the Polish side, from the Betclic camp. They will be asking that question, I think, a lot throughout the course of this one. But look, it's another series coming down. They need to focus up on the last one because they've got a decider game against TLR, and they will definitely be quite worn out, I want to say, if things continue to go as long as they have done for Betclic so far today.
Yeah, and it could be that we still don't even see these boys in the playoffs, right? I think anytime you rematch a team, very difficult. When it's on the same day, it's even more tough. So for Betclic, they recognise that they were the much better team in the first matchup. They recognise that they should have beaten Liquid here today. Now they've got to demonstrate in that last best of 3 that they can get the finished job.
Indeed, they do. For the Liquid side, in terms of their overall complexion in the tournament, though, I mean, look, you're tested against the Betclic side that we've kind of had them pinned to be able to 2-0 over off the base experience alone, and you nearly lost it in 2-0 of your own response. Is that the kind of concerning factor that might allow you maybe to doubt whether or not Liquid would contest in the playoffs?
No, I don't think so. I think these are the squads that build as they go further on in the tournament, right? The more officials they play, the more grand structure of the playoffs. I've got more faith in Liquid. Would it have been an embarrassment if they lost 0-2? Absolutely, right? I think you judge the performance and the outcome very differently if they end up losing this best of 3, but they didn't. They showed a lot of quality out on that decider. I just think it is a wake-up call, and it's one to recognize that, yeah, these teams are not only coming to keep it tight against us, but they're actually coming to try and eliminate us.
Well, look, at the end of the day, they did not quite end up losing out in this series for Liquid's perspective. They do hold on for a little bit longer. They move on out of the group and move forward into the playoffs here of Stake Pulse beats number 1. Now, Coach DP is down on the floor with one of the boys from Liquid.
Yeah, you guys managed to hold on. It's a rough day, a lot of hectic stuff today. Also a hectic couple of days, traveling, just getting the squad together. You performed so well online. What's it been like to be Elise in these last couple of days?
I mean, not too bad. I mean, obviously, like losing against Spirit kind of sucked, but you know they're just like on another level than us. We're just not good enough, simply put. But the travel day just kind of sucked yesterday. Our flight got delayed like 2 hours, so we ended up getting to our hotel like at 3 a.m. essentially. So we're all under 6 hours of sleep. So it's a little bit rough, but it is what it is. All that matters is that we got the wins here. It was super messy, super gross Counter-Strike. I'm sure the viewers could see as well, but we won, so.
You won, and just talking about this team in general, you're reuniting with JT, a guy you had a lot of success with in Complexity. Always thought that you performed very well for the team that you had. How's it being back with him?
It's great. I think that like what we have is really good. I think it makes it easy for us to shine individually and to be coordinated together. I think it's just going to take some time for us. Of course, we need to like make sure that we first of all get enough time on all the maps and talk about how we want to like be playing this. And also we do have like some nerves, you know, coming into the first like matches like on LAN. I think that we definitely did play a little bit more stiff compared to like our online games, but we've only played a few games, so I think that's just going to be like how it's going to be for like the foreseeable future. Guys, I'm so tired. I'm just kind of yapping right now, but it's yeah.
Keep it up. So more yapping because I want to talk a little bit about Jorko. Linking up with him, a new young player. You're one of the central pieces on the team. He's going to be a central piece on the team. How's the partnership with him going?
Good. I mean, he's very energetic, got a lot of ideas. He also is very hardworking and good with criticism. So I think it's just about having enough time, like talking about like you know how we should play different setups, like the protocols that we want to do, like how we want to play against like certain buys and how to make sure we play for like the best percentages like in all the rounds. So I think that it's just gonna take some time, but I think for like a young player, I think he's playing great. I think that he has a really good mindset. So I think it's good for the future for us.
And just one last question: what's the goal for Liquid these next couple of months? Are you looking for the major, for top 10? What's the goal for you?
Honestly, I'd be happy just being in like the tier 1 circuit, just going to like all like the top tournaments. Playoffs at the major, I think, is super achievable for us. Like, I just want to be back into the mix of things, like being in the conversation, because it'd be a lofty goal to say, you know, win the major. It's like obviously everyone wants to win the major, but I think like something that we could definitely achieve is, you know, being in the conversation for like the playoffs, for the trophies would be great, but just being up there with the top teams would be great.
So that's it from a tired but realistic and happy Elise. Back to you guys.
Well, 6 hours of sleep might explain a lot about that series. Might explain why they look blazed out of their mind at the same time. Dwayne, you don't see that as an excuse?
Man.
Come on, as if you haven't
Come
been
on,
able to perform at 6 hours. Come
these
on.
Betclic boys haven't got a salary for 8 months. I mean, come on. Like, I know, like, honestly, I do get it with the tier 1 players, right? And yes, it is true. It can be excuses, it can be that. But you are facing a team that literally have not even been paid for the majority of 2026. And you nearly got 2-0'd by them. I mean, come on, man.
It is what it is at the end of the day. Liquid do take the series, and then that's really the bottom line for themselves, and they move on into the playoffs.